Photoshop it yourself, okay? So Corpse has more hair than you. I guess so. So, and it's more Cyrax, maybe. But, like, yeah, no, and you're right. Do you remember what I said about how every single time that there is an exhumed corpse from 1,000 years ago, that everybody tags me in it and they say, look who it is? Like, again, like, I made this joke. I was talking about it as, like, a, you know, a funny thing, but point proven, right? It happened again. So there you go. And music's too loud. What do you mean it's too loud? I can't even fucking hear it. What are you talking about? So, corpses mogging your hairline? Yeah, apparently the AI that it did, it changed the guy's hairline, which is, I think, really funny. And disagree, females are desirable simply by existing. Exactly, which is why they don't need... See, George doesn't understand it. See, all of these guys are so afraid of being gay that they can't be straight.
Well, hey, you could have been talking to that bot.
I think that in order to truly be straight...
Oh, but the bot was on kick, so...
Gay. To sound... No, actually, well, no. Let me... All right, wait a second. Okay, let me take a step back. You have to be willing to sound gay sometimes. What is this here? You still have an out? Just you have this anytime they call you gay? What is this?
Yeah, that bot really loved the vibe of my intro screen.
I'm a deeply closeted gay guy.
No kidding.
Well, I'm not coming out, though.
Wait a minute. What are you revealing here today?
I'm not revealing anything. I'm saying I'm deeply closeted.
Yeah.
Well, that means you're gay.
No.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Why would I say that? I'm deeply closeted.
Yeah. See?
That means
See,
you're
guys?
very, very gay, but you don't want to come out. You're so closeted.
That I refuse to say I'm gay.
Right.
Exactly.
But that doesn't that mean you're gay?
Hey,
No.
easy, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, this book will reveal much.
This guy, bro, he was such a legend. He really was. Oh my fucking god, that shit is funny. And hey man, yeah, who's gay now? I guess so. For a brief moment, Mitch Aswell is not mad at all. Made a 43-minute video. What is this here?
And during that wonderful time, there was a moment where we mentioned Asmongold.
Yeah.
That brief moment was approximately 2 minutes long.
That's nice.
So of course, as expected, Asmongold, who is not mad at all, who's not.
Did you really have to do that? Did you really have to go and use the fucking soundboard? Really?
Crashing out at all. Bruh. Turned around and made a 43-minute video.
What, are you jealous? You jealous? I mean, yeah, that's what I can do. I can do that.
Instead of like arguing on... Instead of shit-talking one another, right? Or arguing or debating on the issues, if there is like any sort of disagreement, is basically saying my opposition is very angry and they're crashing out and therefore I've won. I'll always be like, oh, you got owned and you were really, really mad. You got owned and you were unbelievably mad. And I am not mad or owned at all.
He's talking, he's pretending to be me, right? I think it's
even though I made a 43-minute video
okay, yes,
about
he is.
your
Okay.
1 minute comment.
Oh, man.
All right.
You had, right? I find it very funny that these guys will just like farm always like 1 minute mention for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then their cope always is, oh, I wasn't even mad. I was just farming him. And I get...
Well, yeah. I mean, like, I think Stavros is really funny. I think, again, I do think that a lot of guys have left this politics to get with women. I do. I think that if you ask most guys, I think most guys act more woke than they actually are in order to appeal to women. I think it's true. So, like, that's a whole separate thing.
I literally just put it out.
This is entire on this was that Stavros is fat.
Give me a sec here.
And I'm a leftist to get pussy.
I didn't say that you were. I said that's the reason why guys do it. That's the reason why. And also, I feel like that's very fair. Like, I didn't get personal. I wasn't mean. I said shut up, fatty, because I think he's funny, so he wants to make fun of the way I look, and so I say, okay, shut up, fatty. I think this is the most reasonable, not like, I wasn't trying to get personal with it or anything. Really? Jesus Christ. Yeah, I look like a ghoul.
I'll do a few more hits
That's
here.
just the way it is.
Let me just break loose this chunk of lung butter.
It's unbelievable copium from like early 2010s.
Okay, well, why don't you
let me
ask,
spark up
like,
the
so
snub here.
why do you think that there are so many instances? So, like, for example, right, you can look at different vectors of, like, analysis, right? So you can look at the differences between, like, young women and young men's political views, whereas, like, young men's political views have generally stayed the same. They've become slightly more conservative, but young women have become increasingly, substantially more liberal and more leftist, right? This is what's happened. And I think that if you also look at, for example, polling of people that say that they underreport their actual opinions on things like gender identity, I think that you can cross-correlate to that. Are underreporting this in order to be socially accepted by women. I think so. And like also just as and again like he would never accept this. Like that. Like how many of you guys have nerfed some of your political views to make yourself more appealing to a woman? How many of you guys have done that? Me. So overwhelmingly everybody, right? So, I mean, like, that, again, and this is a random sample,
I haven't.
but I do think that what I said is true.
I've never done that. But then again, I enjoy pissing people off, so...
Right-wing guys will always be like, oh, I bet you're woke just so you can have sex with women.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think that... No, I think that for some people, they definitely do that. They do. And to say that's not true is very silly. Like, why do you think there's all these male feminists that turn out to be freaks?
I don't think I have...
Why do you think that, you know, like, again, it sounds bad, right? Why do you think that a bunch of, like, weird school teachers and, like, you know, fucking other people in roles that, you know, are around young kids that turn out to be creeps? Well, it's because you fish where the fish are. There's a lot of guys that get involved in this because... I think that's I'm not saying all people are like that, but I think there's a huge strain of it, and it's very pronounced.
To be woke for... women to find me attractive. Like
somebody took this personally. I wasn't even talking about him.
That's not... I'm sure it doesn't hurt. Like, I'm sure my politics, my genuine political opinions probably don't hurt, but... That's not... Yeah. You know. That's not the case. That's not the point.
Why do people listen to that fucking guy? He's fucking disgusting. What are you mad for?
Oh! Fucking God!
Well, what do you want me to say? Like, you want me to get really mad? Like, what am I supposed to say? Yeah, it's not a big deal. God damn! Like, do you want me to get really personal and get super mad about this? I don't care. God
Dude,
damn.
Calling Stavros Halkias shut up fatty is so awesome.
And do you think, like, how many ghoul jokes do people make about me? Oh my God. Hold up, what are you talking about, fatty? Call me.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Not mad. Don't put it in the newspaper that I am mad. I am not mad. Oh, I guess like he's saying Stavros would smell bad because he's fat.
Well, I say you smell bad too. It's not just him. I said both of y'all probably smell bad.
Well, Stavros smells bad because he's fat. Hassan smells bad because he's Turkish.
You're trans fat. And also, like, you eating food all the time. Hassan is sitting on the stream all the time eating food. You can't stop eating food. And so if you eat that much food, you're probably going to be sweating out that food. It's going to make you smell bad. That's the reason why. It's pretty simple.
Is it because I'm like Turkish or something? Bro,
that's exactly the reason why. It's because of your ethnicity. That's totally what I meant.
You don't have to sweat to smell bad. You look like you smell bad sitting. You smell bad standing in place because you don't shower. Yeah, guys.
See, this is the reason. See, this is Hassan is still trans fat. This is the focus that he has around showering. Fat people have this focus. They care so much about this.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah, if we walk 3 miles, if we did a triathlon, yeah.
I didn't say
who would. First of all, I think between us three, if we're doing rankings on who is capable of walking 3 miles, I think Stavros got you beat. I'm not even placing myself in this equation.
All right.
Come on, let's be fucking real.
And let's be real, right? Oh, I could like now we have a like imagine the bare minimum. And now this is again trans fat mentality. I was not even thinking about not being able to walk 3 miles. Only a person with a fat mind would think that walking 3 miles is ever something that's even inside of the realm of not being able to be completed. Of course we can all walk 3 miles. That's easy. But your mind is still colonized by being fat. It's hog logic. It is. We're not thinking about if you can do it or not. Like, you're way, way behind on this. It's a fat mentality. Yes, it's the... Jesus.
But I don't think Asmongold has done anything dynamic in his life for, like, the last 3 decades. So I assume that given how sedentary his lifestyle is normally, if he had to literally walk for 3 miles, he would just perish at, like, the end of the first mile.
Okay. Again, this is more fat projection. It is. It's fat projection. Every single adult can walk a mile. The only point where you can't walk a mile is if you're really fat. Those are the only people that can't walk a mile. Like, my dad was able to walk a mile after he had pneumonia like 7 times or something like that. Half of his lung was gone. He was still able to walk a mile. So what are we talking about? Like, it's or injuries? Yeah, of course, right? I mean, obviously, if you're disabled, that's different. Like, this is, Jesus, this is, he hasn't been fat for a long time, and he's still thinking like this, and being able, his mind is colonized. It's golden corralonized, right? Like, you're thinking about being able to walk 3 miles. Of course people can walk 3 miles. I don't know what to say. You think this is the way it is? He was a...
No, dog, we think you smell disgusting because you don't shower, and you openly say you don't shower. Yeah. And you look like you got, you know...
There are more clips on the internet of people expressing that Hassan smells bad than me.
Visible stink lines on you.
Yeah.
I think you ask the average person who looks like they smell worse. Yeah. Asmongold or Stavros, like 99.9% of the time, they're gonna be like, you, dog, you look.
I think this is like an example of the second fattest kid in the class making fun of the fattest kid in the class. I think that really, if you gave them a picture of me and Stavros and they said which one smells bad, they would answer and say yes. That's the truth.
You look like the type of guy that someone would hastily say, "Oh, sorry, I don't have any change on me, brother." You know?
He actually has no idea how red he is. So I went to the emergency room, and I had, like, you know, a mental health thing, right? And it was like, not in a big way, but I thought I had something wrong with me. And so I go in there, and I'm like, I think I have lumps on my neck. And so they checked me. They said, idiot, you don't have lumps on your neck. Why is your blood pressure so high? And I'm like, I don't know, I'm stressed out. They said, okay, why don't you sit here for a minute? Then they come back. They said, are you retarded? I said, I'm not retarded. They said, okay, great, leave. And I'm like, do you have to pay? And they're like, well, and they just, like, looked at me and they're like, no, just go. Just go, it's fine. Yeah, so actually, like, yeah, he's actually right about this. It's true. I never have bums ask me for money. I never do. No, that's actually not true. I went downtown, I had a guy with one leg ask me for money, I gave him 20 bucks. I gave him 20 bucks, but that's because he saw me in a new Mercedes.
I don't got change on me, brother. Sorry about that. To me, like, our boy didn't have too good of a time here with this.
I was very upset.
Asmongold and Stavros,
I was so mad.
Here's the thing. Stavros is basically the bizarro Asmongold in many respects, where
he's like Wario.
Like, neither of them care too much about their physical appearance. It's obvious, right?
Then why would you think I got mad?
Like, stuff obvious. Ours is like a, you know, getting healthier show and whatnot. But like,
Hey. I got my blood pressure down 70 points. That's crazy.
like, he's a guy, he's a chiller. Like, he enjoys his life. It's very obvious, right? And yet he has unbelievably good vibes.
Yep.
And is very funny.
I think he is. I think he's a really funny guy. He's got great vibes. I think his political opinions are fucking stupid because he agrees with you. But yeah, I think he's a funny guy. You're right.
Whereas Asmongold Gold has rancid fucking vibes and is not fun.
If I have rancid vibes, then why is it that I have always had tons of friends, I've had tons of people to hang out with all the time, I have videos of myself in like middle school and high school hanging out with my friends, there's like dozens of videos of me hanging out with people for like the last like 20 years of my life. Like if I really had such massive rancid vibes, I feel like that wouldn't really happen. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I really don't think so at all. Congrats on the blood pressure, dude. You know what I changed? Nothing. Stop being a fucking idiot. That was it. I ate a little bit less Chipotle, and I did exercise more. I don't want to say that I go for walks because then it's gonna be like, you know, I could walk a mile, like, and then I'm playing into his narrative, right? But I do go for walks, so like, and they're extended walks, and so that.
Green Day's alright.
Funny at all. Oh, this, but I mean, I was, you know, I was a fat kid too.
We know. We know. Everybody knows. It's okay. It's fine.
And
I
when
was a
you're
skinny
fat,
kid.
you are very sensitive about.
But you're not fat anymore, so why are you still sensitive? That's what I was talking about. Trans fat. It's a mindset.
Smelling bad, so you're like extra attentive.
Wait a minute. He's agreeing with what I've been saying. Listen to this.
And when you're fat, you are very sensitive about smelling bad, so you're like extra attentive. Bro, I used to put fucking powder under my kitties, you know what I mean?
Every accusation is a confession. He's mad that I clocked him.
I listened
I
to
knew exactly.
80s skate punk,
That's what really got him going.
late
Like, I was going
70s
crazy
punk,
mode.
Dead
Like,
Kennedys,
I would deodorize my whole fucking
Sex
body
Pistols
and
are
shit.
alright,
Yeah.
the Ramones,
You know, if you're fat, you care about. If you're
Minor
fat, you
Threat,
care about
Black
the way
Flag.
You smell a lot more than other people.
We know, man. We literally, trust me, as somebody that wasn't fat and I had to be around fat people, like, we all know that y'all smell bad. Literally, everybody knows. I'm not telling this. It's not a secret. Okay? We know this.
People do. At least that was the case for me. And that certainly carried over to my not so fat lifestyle. As
I actually clocked it, bro. He's admitting everything. He is admitting fucking every. Oh my god. And it's okay. You called that? I did, and that's fine. I'm happy for you. It's great.
well, where
Uh-huh.
you know I got to shower at least once a day, if not some.
I mean, he
That's
works out in the
REM.
morning, right? And like he's in California, does it outside, I think, right? And so like I get it, right? That makes sense.
Sometimes twice a day.
Okay.
at least that's... if when you say "End of the World as We Know It," that's the first song I think of
It's
is
a
the version
state
by
of mind.
REM. And
Is he
shit, that's
trauma
from like
dumping right now, maybe. It's a state
it
of
might have been the
mind.
early '90s.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was the early '90s.
Even now.
Perfume, you know, all this shit.
I don't
have a
particularly
first
care
album,
for
I do,
REM. That
so
was more like
Cody
college
got
rock
this.
when I was
He
growing
got
up.
this little, it's like a cologne thing, and I put it over
Although
here, got it from me
Weezer
like
is
10 years
college
ago, I never
rock, and I
used it.
like Weezer.
honestly, like, there's nothing that just smells better than me. So, I mean, I don't really see the point.
I am terrified still.
I like
of
the Black
time
Keys.
When I was a young boy.
That's
and
a
I was
newer
very
band.
fat,
Reverend
and
Horton,
I would
he
always
he
worry
actually
that
just
my
put out an
lacrosse
album
sweat
not that
would
long ago.
be, you know, offensive to people.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, I know that song.
I fucking got you, bro.
I don't know
you,
who
and you
sings
know
it,
That's
but
why
I've
you-
heard it. Well, that one's kind of memed a lot too on the
I'm
internet.
sorry. Like,
So.
I'm gonna be living.
Oh,
off this high
the
for a long
'90s
time.
band Lit.
Like I am.
They got
This
that
is-
song "My
this
Own
is
Worst
amazing.
Enemy." That's a good song.
Wow.
Thing is, yeah, I worked hard on it.
"My Own Worst
worked hard
Enemy"
on
by
it.
And
Lit.
it's
That's a good
respectable.
song.
He
I
worked
remember
really hard to
I used
lose
to play it
weight.
all the time
He
when I went
works
to the
out a
bar.
lot. He cares about his physique. He takes a lot more stuff for his hair than I do, and it shows. And that's great. So you don't have to keep putting out this act anymore, okay? Like you've earned it. You can stop thinking like a fat person now.
That it wasn't.
You can move
it
past
didn't
this.
become a problem.
I want you to
What
move
is
past
this conversation?
It's a trauma dump.
Morning.
I'm just giving you a
If
little
you
bit
try
of
to
insight
say
into
it's
my
a
life,
good
dude.
morning,
Giving you a
there's
little
Flagpole
insight.
Sitta by
I already
Don't.
gave all the
Harvey
insight.
Danger. It's a good song.
I already gave all the insight.
Well, I
He's
guess
more
I'm gonna
defensively
have to
good than
pay
he
you
is
now
holding on
that
to
you
me,
did
you
it.
think? Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, he's not safe. Okay. So
Yeah,
true.
What? Can a fucking quirked up white boy be a little vulnerable for a moment, you know?
God damn, you ain't
I
got
don't know
shit,
if he's
do
talking
you?
about me, Stavros, or him. Like, I really, I think he's talking about himself, right?
You
Maybe-
get
is
into
he
trouble with
quirked
those.
Up? I don't think Hassan is quirked up. Like, this is, oh my god, is he white? Is he talking about me? Like, well, wait a minute. Well, wait a second. So can't you say, how can you say, can't a quirked up white boy be a little vulnerable?
I was,
But then you get mad at me for getting mad, which exposes
I'm
vulner-
listening to
Dude,
Asmongold. Yeah.
This is, honestly, this made my day so much better. It really did. This is just...
I guess, fucking what's his name?
Wow.
Hassan
I can't
fucking
believe
had
it.
some comedian on
I'm not surprised
his
at all.
podcast, his live
I'll say
stream,
that.
and they did
And,
nothing but
it's just
talk about
really funny,
Asmongold
man.
the whole
And,
time.
yeah, about the booty sweat? I bet they were. And you've tired of winning yet? I guess so. I mean, I'll be tired of winning whenever...
Dude, what is it with them showing me like year-old fucking videos, man? Did like nobody download yesterday or something? Or we'll listen to this guy.
Today we're going to be talking about Hassan Piker, otherwise
I don't know
known as
who he
Hassan
is.
Abi on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. Hassan is the largest left-wing political streamer on Twitch. As you can see here, he has 3.1 million followers on the platform. He is the second largest political streamer in general on Twitch after Asmongold, who is more center-right than Hassan. Hassan also has a YouTube channel with 1.89 million subscribers. And while things are not going well for Hassan these days, he's under a federal investigation. And now, just to add on to that,
I don't
somebody
like
decided
you.
to do a poll
Get
on
moving,
Hassan to see his
jackass.
favorite
This
vote.
don't
Now,
pay
this
by
is
the
a
hour.
selection of it put together and screenshotted by Yeet, but the actual poll here comes from Overton Insights, and they decided to do a poll on a bunch of controversial political figures. What we care about here is Hassan. Now, Hassan has a 10% favorable rating compared to a 19% unfavorable rating, and 71% of people have never heard of him. And to be honest, if you're one of those 71%, I'm very proud of you, because there is absolutely no reason that anybody should know who Hassan is. And it's unfortunate that there is at least some part of my mind that is occupied with understanding and knowing about Hassan
I've only
Piker,
seen
who is
clips
perhaps
of his
the
live
most
stream, but I know he
radical
live
left
streams
It
for
does
like
seem
8
kind of
hours,
interesting
8 to
me.
10
He is
hours.
less favorable than Graham Plattner. We go over to the next sheet
And
here,
I've
you'll
only
see
seen
these
clips
are
of him, but the
Hassan's
clips I've
affiliation
seen
by
from
the
him,
page. As
it's
you
like,
can see, he only has a 1%
I don't know how you
favorable
could sit
rating
through
from
8 to 10
Republicans,
hours
a
of that.
19%
He's got to talk
favorable
about
rating
other
from
shit.
Democrats.
I mean,
Now, the most
there's got to be
interesting thing that I
something
saw,
on
the
his
reason
show
I
that's
wanted to bring
interesting.
up this whole chart is that 0% of the people who
But
responded
him
to the
crashing
poll
out about
had
Aspen
children
Gold,
have a
which he does
favorable
like
view of
every
Hassan.
day.
So people with families, they do not
I mean,
like
he's
Hassan.
just,
They don't like his
I
message.
don't know,
they
man.
don't like socialism. That's what I'm getting from this. If you actually look down here, of people who live with their parents, though, 42% of them have a favorable opinion of Hassan. So 0% of people who have children like Hassan, but 42% of people who live with their parents still, they like Hassan. Interesting. I'm sure you can draw some conclusions from that about socialists living in their parents' basements, but we won't go too far into that. Why is this important? It's important because number one, Hassan is the second largest political streamer on Twitch, and he's popular mostly among young people. And with Hassan's radical views, that's a concern, right? We don't want him radicalizing people, bringing them further and further left. That's bad. And because everybody knows that's bad, Hassan was recently subpoenaed by the federal government. That's right, they were investigating Hassan over his recent visit to Cuba, where he may or may not have violated sanctions. Now, as of right now, there's a lot of people saying, oh, Hassan's gonna go to jail for this, but right now he's not. It's not a criminal investigation yet. It's just a request for information, so they're just looking through his records to see whether or not he deserves any civil or criminal penalties. Once they do this, then they'll determine whether or not he deserves a civil fine, or if he has done something egregious enough to warrant criminal charges. But as of right now, it's just a request for information. That being said, Hassan is very worried about it. If we take a listen to this, you will hear Hassan shaking in his boots, essentially.
Is not good. Okay? I mean, it's bullshit, but still not great that, you know, they're after your boy. They're up my ass. And I'll obviously get into it right now. I'll tell you all about it, but let me blast off real quick. We will free you, brother. Yeah, free me. Free me. Free me. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I'm about to be seemingly made an example of.
That's right, Hassan believes that he is about to be made an example of by the federal government, saying that he's going to be criminally charged. I don't know if he will or not. I'm thinking that he's going to be made an example of. I don't know if it's action on his part. Law enforcement, but as of right now, like I said, it's just an information request. He's not actually facing anything, but he is definitely very, very worried about what could happen, and he probably should be, because like I said, this Fox News, but scroll down here, you'll see Hassan actually said that the target is probably Singham, PSL to answer coalition to Code Pink, which are left-wing organizations, like anything that he has ever financed, Piker said during the stream. So Hassan believes that they're going to use him to go after a guy named Singham. If we scroll up here, Fox News talks about him. Far-left political influencer Hassan Piker identified American Marxist tech tycoon Neville Roy Singham as a major financier behind a network of pro-communist U.S. nonprofits engaged in political advocacy and a lot of political movements, making the first public acknowledgement from a figure inside the far-left network that organizations in the Singham network are operating with an explicitly political agenda. The comments are significant because congressional investigators and watchdog groups have long argued that nonprofits connected to Singham are functioning as overt political operations while enjoying tax-exempt charitable status. Critics argue that such activity may violate nonprofit tax laws, which place strict limits on the amount of political activity charities can conduct. So essentially what Hassan believes is they're going to try to get him to sing like a piano and tell them all about this operation, where these people are getting their money from, and if it's all coming from this guy overseas in China. And if that's the case, and there's some even more sketchy stuff going on, it's not a good day to be Hassan Piker. I don't think that anybody would want to be in his shoes right now. That being said, you're probably not a communist, and you probably feature Cuba anytime soon, so you probably don't have to worry about exactly what he's going through, especially if you're not taking money to push political agendas. Hassan doesn't say that he's personally receiving funds from Singham. He does seem to imply that these organizations are. So, I don't know, is he getting paid? Is Hassan getting money from some billionaire to push left-wing ideas? I guess we'll find out when the investigation goes through. There's a lot of GOP lawmakers who are urging the Treasury to press ahead with the probe of Hassan Piker over his tweets. With Rekt from California saying there's no way to look away from what we're learning about financing from Uncle Singham or a scandal that's now hiding in plain sight. Now, obviously, Issa here is referring to Hassan's comments about Singham. I don't know anything about Singham. I believe Hassan calls him a centimillionaire. He does. Now, this is because Hassan does not want to be associated with billionaires, at least in my opinion. So he has to use terms that nobody knows to try to distance himself from billionaires. And so instead he says a centimillionaire, which is almost a billionaire, but not as bad. Kind of crazy. I don't think that anybody who's not a rich socialist knows what centimillionaire means. But anyway, the congressional Republicans are hearing what Hassan's saying, and they're much more interested about that than I think his Cuba trip. Rick Scott said, "Good." In response to the news of the subpoena, Hassan Piker and Code Pink went to Cuba, stayed in 5-star hotels, cozied up with thugs in the communist regime, and completely ignored the innocent political prisoners being starved and tortured. They should be thoroughly investigated and held accountable for any laws broken in doing so, Rick Scott added. So obviously Hassan is not having a good time. He is under investigation by the government. He could potentially in the future have to face the consequences of that investigation if they find that he did something wrong. But that's not it. That's not all that's going on in Hassan's life. Hassan is trying to go to the UK soon, and the Home Office of the UK is being urged to revoke his visa because Hassan calls himself an anti-Zionist, and his anti-Zionism brings him very, very, very close to the line, if not over the line, in my opinion, of anti-Semitism. So Hassan's supposed to speak at London, I believe that's South by Southwest, in June. David Taylor, the MP for Hemel Hempstead, stated that Mr. Piker's presence would be not conductive to the public good due to his controversial comments. Piker, a prominent online personality, has faced backlash for past remarks, including claiming America deserved 9/11 and stating he would vote for Hamas over Israel. The Jewish community group, CST, also called on organizers to, quote, act responsibly, arguing the UK should not be a platform for individuals spreading hatred or legitimizing extremism. So, they're being pushed to ban Hassan from the UK in general, just because of extremist ideas. And those are their words, right? Hassan, I would say, personally, in my opinion, I would consider him to be very extremist views. But then again, what matters is what you guys think. So let me know in the comments, do you think Hassan Piker is an extremist? Can you believe these stats? That 0% of people with children have a favorable view of Hassan, and that 42% of people who live with their parents have a favorable opinion? Very interesting stats there. Do you think Hassan is screwed because of this investigation, the way that he thinks he's going to be? Is he going to be made an example of? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. And if you watched all the way till the end, I'd love it if you could put the word jail in your comment. That way I'll know you watched till the end. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and God bless you.
I don't care about redemption. Why would I give a fuck about that? Like, do you think that I'm thinking about their best interests? Who gives a fuck about what their best interests are? They're fucking criminal drug dealers. Like, obviously, if you can help them, then it would be better to help them. But who gives a fuck? Were they thinking of anybody else's redemption whenever they killed them? Were they thinking about other people's redemption when they sold them drugs that were probably laced with worse drugs that could have killed them? No. You have to stop letting yourself pick the side of evil. That's what you're doing. You're letting your emotions allow you to side with evil.
How much damage has really been done? And the problem, surely, far, far bigger. This is not so much a problem of public security. It's a problem of sovereignty, with the drug gang being able to take effective command of a number of areas in Rio and increasingly throughout Brazil as well, especially in these favela areas. Now, getting rid of this drug gang, who gave an impressive display of force with their reprisals yesterday, effectively...
You really get... I don't even think it's impressive. Honestly, like, I mean, like, if you played an FPS match and it's first one to 100, and they score 4 and you score 100, would you say that they did impressive? I would say they got fucked. Like, this was a blow-up. They got steamrolled.
Shutting the city down. Getting rid of this drug game will require much more than military-style police operations.
Our society raise a bunch of flower sniffers who think evil doesn't exist. The reason why is because they've never been confronted with it and they've never had to deal with it. The reason why a lot of people believe in redemption for criminals is because they don't have to be the recipients of the potential lack of redemption. So these people have no problem talking about, oh, I care about, rehabilitating people, etc. But they never have to be the victims of that rehabilitation process should it go badly. So that's the reason why you have so much of this this empathy for criminals. It's because a lot of the people that have empathy never have to actually have accountability for it. There's never any accountability for their empathy. They never have to be the one that has to, house an illegal alien that has, a criminal record in their house. It's easy to humanize criminals when they're not victims or in any way relate personally. Yeah, exactly. Like, they don't know what it does to these people. It's sympathy, not empathy. So you believe that all criminals are just inherently bad people, should be locked away forever? I think that if you're working in you're in a drug gang and you have the police raid you and you get shot, I think this is a Rip Bozo situation. You shouldn't have been there. You shouldn't have put yourself in that situation. You knew what you were doing. You knew what you were getting into. And that's what happened. That's it. You put words in your mouth? Yeah, just go back perm, Banner. Yeah, I didn't even say that.
Criticisms here there are those who see this as a huge success, and there are criticisms that this isn't particularly effective, that we're dealing with organised crime. It's far more effective to get a handle on the finances rather than kill the foot soldiers.
You can't get a handle on the finances. They're doing everything through crypto. They're doing it through international banks. It's harder to do. And also, who's going to use the finances? People are going to use the finances, right? So if you kill the person that has the account, well, then nobody can use the fucking account. And you kill enough people with the accounts, then there's no more accounts. It's pretty easy to deal with. It's stupid. Like, what do you mean? You go after the finances. Going after the finances is only going to make these people oppress their own communities even harder.
And Tim, how has the Brazilian president been reacting to all of that? We've heard that he's horrified by the death toll, saying as well that the police in Rio launched this operation without notifying the federal government.
Based, because federal government could have been compromised. You realize that some of the gangs get their members are often lured in with the promise of legit work, only to be held at gunpoint to join a gang that they were not aware of? Yeah, it sucks. I guess we should just let them go out and kill people and sell drugs and terrorize the community then. I understand that from your perspective it might seem unfair or scary, but there are a lot of choices and things like this in life where there isn't really a good choice. There isn't a choice that has like no negative side effects. It's just that's not the way the world works. These are people that, it's like you have the trolley problem. These are people who are too afraid to pull the lever because they don't want to kill one person, and they end up killing 100, but they tell themselves that because they didn't pull the lever, they're a good person. That's what it is.
Yes, he has said that at the time of the operation. He was flying back from Malaysia. So he took knowledge of this early this morning, and he is perturbed by the death toll. Lula, always a consensualist, an attempt to build consensus. So he had emergency meetings with some of his ministers today, and he has sent a committee, including his justice minister.
And you can see all the clips. Are any of the clips of the actual people that were the killers? Did it show any of the drugs they had or the guns they had? Did it have the firefight at all? Did it show the drone footage dropping firebombs on the police officers? No. All they're showing is a bunch of crying women. That's it. Because they're trying to manipulate your emotions and make you act against your best interest. because this,
you-
just
now
like a
that
lot
you
of
did
other
the
types of
job, I
media,
guess
is
you
not
ain't
out
that
for your
damn
best
bad after
interest.
all.
It has some sort of weird global agenda that they don't give a fuck about the best interest of Brazilian citizens or French citizens. They give a fuck about pushing their agenda.
Hey, jerk.
That's it.
You need some
And
work?
you see how
Good
they
luck.
replay the
You
same
better not
crime
make me
over
regret
and
this.
over and over. Complete manipulation.
To Rio to meet with the governor, Claudio Campos,
Never
political
let
opponent.
that happen.
And at the moment, they are working hard to try and present a united front, to try and say all levels of the government need to be together in the fight against organised crime.
They do need. Yeah,
Tim,
true.
thanks so much for all of that. That's Tim Vickery, our correspondent in Rio.
Yeah, what a joke. What a fucking joke, bro. Like, I just... When criminal gangs get caught, they turn into whiny babies. Congratulations to Brazil's police. Poverty is an excuse to do crime. Zero tolerance. Good job. There are criminals denying human rights to others. Their own human rights got denied. I have no... Bro, base YouTube comments. Bro, see, YouTube is one of the only platforms that's, like, not really censored at all. And so, like, you actually have people that give their... Everybody in the comments is totally on favor with this. Yeah, like, they're totally fucking on board with this. I'm so happy to see this. It's amazing, isn't it? So, yeah, YouTube comments going in. Yeah, and this is just the common sense, right? And it is. You're making a difference. I will, and I'll keep doing it until all of this misplaced empathy is put in a box where it deserves. Right? Put it in a box, put it in the closet, put it away, and forget about it. Because the amount of people right here, look at this here. This is somebody, thank you to civil police and military police. I hope these actions multiply throughout the country, Brazil. And this is obviously just some guy, I think this is Portuguese, I'm not really sure. Could be Spanish, I can't really tell the difference, to be honest. But yeah, you have actual citizens there that are saying that. YouTube's a good baseline of what normies think. Well, any platform that isn't biased is a good baseline. Platforms that are, that isn't censored. So like Reddit, you can never listen to what people say on Reddit and try to get a fair shake on that because any conservative viewpoints are banned. So like you can't ever do that. You can't do it on TikTok either because also TikTok is massively, what is this here? May there be no shortage of ammunition. Amen. Oh man, there's r/conservative? Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, sure. And there used to be 50 other conservative subreddits. They all also got banned. And yeah, there it is. And this needs to be widespread in every nation. Yeah, El Salvador was the blueprint. El Salvador was the blueprint, and it was one of the worst criminals of all. Brazil is not his. It belongs to Brazilian people. Yeah, bro. Yeah, I'm so glad to see YouTube comments calling this shit out, bro. This stupid fat Karen bitch convicted of a felony for helping a domestic abuser evade ICE.
A judge in Wisconsin has been arrested and charged for allegedly obstructing ICE agents. Judge Hannah Dugan is accused of helping an undocumented immigrant avoid arrest.
You just look at her, you know she did it. You do. That's all you have to do. You just look at them, you know if they did it or not. She did it.
Today, a whole new level. Today, the FBI arrested a county judge in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. According to the FBI, this judge knew that Trump's immigration agents were outside her courtroom waiting to arrest a man who was before her court. They say she sent the immigration agents away from her hearing room and then escorted the man and his lawyer out of the courtroom through a private exit.
Hi, good morning, Jackie. Well, prosecutors say the video shows the escape with the black-robed judge sworn to uphold the law, instead breaking it.
Well, let's get to that verdict on the felony count. The jury just...
You look at her. Did she do that? She absolutely did it. It's not even a question. I don't even know what. Did it even need a trial? Like, I tell you right now, she's guilty.
Decided Dugan is guilty of obstructing a federal agency.
Here's a quick message from the sponsor of this video, ZocDoc. You ever do anything weird,
so
something's
glad about
off?
this.
Your eyes swollen, your neck got a weird pain,
God.
or you have a cold that just won't quit. And instead of calling a doctor, you scroll TikTok and YouTube like that's gonna fix it. Or maybe you're just too busy to get a pill on its own. Or you're like, I don't know which doctor to go to. Trust me, I've made every excuse in the book too. But now I use ZocDoc. and it makes things a lot easier. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and instantly book appointments. We're talking about over 100,000 doctors from across every specialty. From mental health, dental, primary care, urgent care, you name it.
Shojo's going crazy.
And with ZocDoc, you can filter by insurance, see who's nearby, and check real reviews from verified patients. Now, simply just pick your time slot, and boom, appointments usually happen between 24 and 72 hours, sometimes even the same day. Now, full disclosure, I personally use ZocDoc, and the doctor that I go to now, I found on ZocDoc. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments. Go to ZocDoc.com/.
When I get back to the base, I should see if I can make guns.
Comment or in the description of this video. Now, back to the story.
I know I got the parts to make a machine gun. You know what? I can check right now.
Where Judge Hannah Dugan seems to be in trouble with the feds for trying to help an illegal immigrant evade ICE. Now, to really understand this story, I think you need to understand why this guy was here in the first place.
Yeah.
Here is Pam Bondi, Attorney General of the United States. She's going to explain.
Handguns,
it was appalling to all of us what happened.
Oh, you know
I
what?
used to be a domestic violence prosecutor. And
so this guy got charged. He's getting charged for domestic violence, and she's helping him get away.
21.
Case
Holy
involved
shit!
Someone who was deported under
All right, I should
President
probably
Obama,
start investing
came
some.
What the
back
hell is
into our
going
country,
on?
we don't know when, illegally, and he was living at a residence, and he beat up a man so badly he had to go to the hospital. His roommate. He punched him with a closed fist in the face 30 times. The victim fell to the
30 times? The guy's a fucking psycho.
Ground, and he choked him. Then the girlfriend came in, tried to break it up. He punched a woman in the face with a closed fist so hard she fell to the ground. He hit her in the arm. Both of them had to go to the hospital. The fight's broken up. They're taken to the hospital, and he's threatening to do further harm to them later. So she's a sitting judge on a domestic violence case.
And she lets this guy go.
He's the defendant, Ruiz. 2 victims and a prosecutor, a state prosecutor in the courtroom. It is routinely done when people are picked up on any kind of warrants that it's done outside a courtroom. It's been done in that courthouse. It's been done in a courthouse where I prosecuted.
I don't know why there are so many white women that constantly go out of their way to allow these criminals and these violent people to exist in society. It's like, I feel like just overwhelmingly, if I look at the amount of people that are like trying to support this or advocate for it,
I kind of don't.
Overwhelmingly white women. It is, and like I can say I'm white, right? I can say that. It's so obvious. Everybody knows this. It's white guilt. I think it is too. It's actually, they've been psyoped by white guilt so bad that they're siding with domestic abusers. Isn't that crazy? How do you do that?
The reason?
Oh my God.
Executing a warrant is one of the most dangerous things law enforcement officers can do. You never know what you're going to encounter behind that door, what kind of weapons, with any defendant. So the safest place to do it is if you know they're going to be in a courthouse because they've gone through
it's
security.
right next to the place I just
want to let
did.
you listen to MSNBC and how they're describing what happened. Listen to Rachel Maddow.
If Trump's immigration agents are staking out courthouses to grab people, to kidnap.
You see, like, all the emotional language. I think this is what happens, is that they use this trumped up, super charged emotional rhetoric, and then women watch this, and then they get fucking, they get like they get emotionally manipulated by it. They do. They're getting emotionally manipulated by this rhetoric, and now they're siding with and trying to help illegal aliens fucking evade arrest. That's it. It works for centuries. It's so embarrassing.
People.
I just want to be clear, no one was kidnapped.
They're being kidnapped. Jesus Christ.
Arrested.
Yeah.
He's not been kidnapped. And the second thing I want to mention is that she's not going to mention the victim, but she's saying him being arrested for his immigration issues is kidnapping. But let me let
once they show up to take part in a lawful court proceeding, that stops judges from fulfilling their responsibilities under the law for what happens with their cases and in their courtrooms. Now, this was also a point of tension in Trump's first term. In Trump's first term, he also sent immigration agents to go to try to arrest people at their court appearances. And it was a flashpoint then. State judges have a duty to ensure the safety of the people who appear before them in court, whether as plaintiffs or defendants or witnesses.
It's so obviously dishonest. It's unbelievable. It is. This is crazy.
Shit.
Well, today, A whole new level. Today, the FBI arrested a county judge in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. According to the FBI, this judge knew that Trump's immigration agents were outside her courtroom waiting to arrest a man who was before her court. They say she sent the immigration agents away from her hearing room and then escorted the man.
I wish that somebody could just buy the house next to where she lives and then put 10 illegal aliens that are undocumented that have a prior history of violent crime and have all of them live next door to her house. I think that would be perfect. It would only cost like maybe $1 million, $2 million, right? Like Trump should just do this. Proper punishment? Absolutely. She would sign off on that? Yeah, at first.
His lawyer out of the courtroom through a private exit. For that, the Trump administration has arrested her and charged her with 2 felonies.
So as you see, Rachel Maddow didn't bring up the fact that he's here illegally. She didn't bring up the fact that he's in court on a domestic violence beat.
This video is so good, by the way, because he's playing it. Yeah, and it's like she doesn't even include this information because it's not about. This is the reason why everybody hates people like her. It's because they're lying. They're lying and misrepresenting things intentionally in order to make people think something that isn't true. That's what they do.
Because he's punched someone 30 times, as it says here. Now you have to love the way Rachel Maddow spun
We don't
this
hate journalists
case.
enough.
She's trying to make the argument that by helping this guy, this domestic batterer, evade ICE agents, that was in some way protecting him from being kidnapped.
Yep.
Talk about a stretch. No,
and this is the emotional manipulation that you see. Like whenever you see like all these fat Karens doing some big rally to free all the violent criminals and illegal aliens, whenever you see one of these happening, just know that this is the way that it's happened, is that they watch shows like Rachel Maddow or something like that. And, you know, basically they just see that, they watch Rachel Maddow and they turn into mad cows. And then they go out and they cause a bunch of problems for everybody. And it's insane that we even take these people seriously even for a second. It is. It's so obnoxious and annoying. I can't believe it.
Fans and you guys
mad cow disease.
The spin. You
There's a lot of
want to see the videotape. So let's
hate
go
these
to
people.
the video.
I do. I
so
hate
the
them.
courthouse released a surveillance tape to show us exactly what happened this day in this particular courthouse in Milwaukee. All right, so first things first, this is the suspect, Eduardo Flores Ruiz. And he has a court hearing today based on the information you heard earlier of him punching somebody 30 times and beating up his girlfriend. He's been arrested and is being prosecuted by the good people in Milwaukee. Now, when ICE becomes aware of his arrest and detainment, they go to Milwaukee to go pick him up because he happens to be in the country illegally.
No
So
way!
On April 18th at 8:16 a.m., federal officers went to the courthouse in Milwaukee. The first 2 officers positioned themselves outside of the courtroom, and they were later met by 2 other officers who were serving in a backup role.
Need to build Guantanamo Bay 2.0 for these folks. I think that the biggest punishment that you could give them is to give them the make sure that they have to live with the consequences of their own narrative. Make sure that these people have to live with the chaos and discord and violence and risk that their worldview enables. That's the best way that you can punish them.
I'm not hitting that thing 100 times.
Comes to the courthouse and clears the metal detectors. So now law enforcement knows he doesn't have any weapons, and it's going to be easy to take them because they have multiple officers.
Yeah,
now, at exactly 8:40, 1 minute later, you see Judge Dugan on the camera get into her courtroom. Now, at exactly 3 minutes after the judge
This is her
gets
talking
there,
to him?
she puts on her robe and runs outside and tells the ICE officers to go to the chief judge's office.
Isn't it also like kind of it's a weird thing that she's out there talking to the people that she's going to be passing judgment on, right? Like, I think that's kind of weird to do anyway. It feels like kind of a conflict of interest.
And then the judge sends the 3 other agents who are down the hall also to the chief judge's office.
That doesn't go anywhere.
After the ICE agents went to speak to the chief judge,
That's an ICE agent?
Dugan pulled a whole bunch of tricks.
Okay.
First, she postponed Ruiz's hearing about the whole beating the guy up and beating up his ex-girlfriend, and instructed him to leave through a non-public entrance.
Oh, there he is.
So he can avoid ICE agents. So while the agents
So they're leading him away, trying to actively help him evade the police. Oh my god.
The chief judge
See, this person also needs to go to needs to be charged too. You need to, again, if you want to make this stuff stop, you have to go Old Testament on them. You have to go Old Testament on them, and you have to completely obliterate and ruin their lives in the most absolute and serious sense possible. You put them in jail for 10, 20 years. You totally destroy their life. And if you do that, this stuff is going to stop happening. And by the way, this is the moral position. I am the moral person, and let me explain why. This is a domestic abuse, violent criminal. If you let this person out, you are potentially putting other people's lives in danger. This is the same as like drunk driving in a way, where like basically you're endangering everybody else just by driving. And you can say, oh, well, I'm doing it all the time. Well, that's nice. Okay, go in the box now. That's it. It's honorable punishment. And so this is the reason why you do this. Advocating for violence? Yes, you are. And so hold them all accountable. Deport them with the person they defended. That's the moral position. Well, I don't know if we can do that. I'd rather just put them in prison and force them into manual labor. That would be my preference. They threw away a career over on nobody. Yeah, and well, what I'm saying is that you have to do it to such a extreme and brutal degree that people are afraid to do it. You have to be so brutal and so extreme and so dramatic about the way that you treat these people that nobody will ever even consider doing it. That's how you handle it. Because these people are trying to, they don't care if they kill you or your family or your parents or your kids with their suicidal, narcissistic, pathological empathy. They will sign you up to be terrorized, brutalized, and murdered by an illegal immigrant to satisfy their pathological, narcissistic empathy. That's what they'll do. That's exactly what they will do. You need to Old Testament these people. Throw the book at them, and then go even farther than that.
Ruiz is slipping
That's what I would
the
do.
back door. You're looking.
I'm so mad. Like, in my opinion, Karen logic. Yes, exactly. It's Karen logic. Why not just put them in solitary confinement permanently? Just do that. Why not?
At the actual footage for those of you who have any questions. Now, I have to put...
And you have to be cruel. You have to be cruel. And if you don't, they'll do it to you. Because they're the ones that are truly cruel. They're the ones that will ruin society so they can feel good about themselves. That's right.
It right here for 1 second, because you see this guy right here? Well, he's a federal agent, and
give them what they want. So strict, not cruel.
In case some funny business happens. And now Ruiz is walking past him.
I hate this stuff so much.
The courthouse, and what does he do? Well, he follows Ruiz. Now Ruiz leaves the building, but ICE agents are outside, and he is arrested.
Gotcha, bitch.
So the FBI and the Department of Justice,
they just ran his ass down.
We just saw and said, hey, this judge has committed a crime, and we're going to arrest her. Here is NBC explaining it.
Federal authorities reportedly arrested.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think that's why we have so many weak men? They never think that. They never think about being that way, so we don't know how to deal with it when it's on our doorstep. We have to learn how to be brave again. I think that people have been defeated by peace, and they've been defeated by a degree of safety that is so, like, we have more safety in our lives now than anybody has ever had in the history of time. Things are so safe and everything is so okay that people can't even comprehend the idea of violence happening or bad things happening. That's what it is. The West is domestic. Yes, we've been domesticated, exactly. And so whenever we deal with people that are, you know, not domesticated, right, violent criminals, people assume that there's like a broader reason for it. They try to come up with extra examples for it, or like, oh, why it's like not their fault. That's what happens. The UK could fix their illegal boat immigrants by blowing up the boats instead of letting them onto the shore. Well, they're going to do that. That's where things are going. It's going to happen. It's not going to happen yet, but very clearly there are so many people in Europe that are becoming radicalized that eventually the policy for the government will be to blow up the boats and sink the boats. That's what's going to happen. I can promise you that. And it will probably happen in less than 10 years.
arrested a Milwaukee County Circuit judge this morning for allegedly...
And it would have never happened if they had just treated it with the degree... Like, it would have never gotten to this point if they didn't treat it like being mad at these migrants coming over and living off of your fucking country is racism. This would have never happened.
Assisting an undocumented migrant. In a since-deleted tweet from FBI Director Kash Patel, he said this judge was arrested on charges of obstruction related to an immigration arrest.
That's right. So Judge Hannah Dugan is the person who's been arrested here, facing 2 counts. The court paperwork was just unsealed. Obstructing or impeding a proceeding before a department or agency of the United States and concealing an individual to prevent his discovery and arrest, at least according to the information that the federal prosecutors and the FBI has alleged here in the course of their investigation. She moved this individual who's wanted by ICE, for which there was an active and a arrest warrant for, to be removed from the United States, moved him through the jury door, allowing him to effectively evade ICE agents. This individual was facing criminal charges, 3 misdemeanor counts related to physical assault. And so that's why they were in the courthouse in the first place.
Now, a federal grand jury indicted the judge on those 2 counts, and then the judge pleaded not guilty to those charges, but said she was immune from prosecution because she was acting in an official capacity as a judge.
We take that away.
Judge has pleaded not guilty to federal charges related to her allegedly helping a man evade immigration authorities. Hannah Dugan was indicted this week on charges of obstruction and concealing an individual to prevent arrest. Dugan's attorneys are moving to have the case dismissed, arguing her actions were in her official capacity as a judge and that she has immunity from criminal prosecution, citing that 2024 Supreme Court decision in President Trump's favor.
So now, to make a long story short, the judge's motion was denied. She did not have immunity like the president.
Oh, wow. Too bad, huh?
In the United States, because she wasn't the president.
The fat bitch needs jail time? Absolutely she does. Absolutely. We need to punish people for claiming not guilty whenever they're shown to be guilty? Well, I don't know. I feel like that's it's a court proceeding, right?
If you want a job from me,
so
let's get one thing straight. You're not working with me. You're working for me.
Judge, and I can do whatever I want. They convicted her on the felony count. But they
you love to see it.
Did acquit her on a misdemeanor, which is kind of not really great for the judge because you'd rather be convicted of the misdemeanor and not the felony, but they convicted her of the felony.
I'd say the felony's usually worse.
Well, good evening. Welcome to our CBS 58 studios, and we start tonight with breaking news on the verdict in the trial of Judge Hannah Dugan.
Judge Dugan was accused of trying to hide an undocumented immigrant from immigrations and customs enforcement agents in the Milwaukee courthouse.
Yeah, that happened in April of this year, bringing national attention to Milwaukee amidst heightened tensions over immigration enforcement in the United States. It spurred questions over whether immigration enforcement agents should be able to arrest people in courthouses.
They absolutely should be able to. Why would, and here's the question, right?
You should be able to arrest a criminal anywhere
in the country. Why are we wasting time with our legal system, sending them through this entire process when you're not even supposed to be here?
What is it, a game of tag? Hey, I'm on base. You can't tag me.
Are you supposed to be here or not?
No.
And if you're not
fucking, you
to
can
be
arrest
here,
a criminal
then you get
anywhere.
kicked out. It's stupid. It's a waste of resources. It's a waste of time. And this is what happens, right? Is that this is the reason why we have such a massive problem with dealing with these migrants and these illegal aliens. The reason why is because basically what the government did prior to Trump is that they just let these people come in mass, right? And so they created a problem that if you applied every rule inside of the system to give these people due process, this would be effectively impossible to do. That's why they're complaining about due process, is that they ignore due process to let these people come in mass, but then they want to have due process to have them removed. And this is a tactical decision that they're doing and a tactical thing that they're advocating for.
Yeah, well, that's like if I rob a bank, I should be able to, fight for my right to keep the money.
Everything to a halt by just adding in so many processes and so many levels of obfuscation that you can never actually solve the problem. Due process for citizens, not illegals. I don't think we should give illegals due process either. I think we should just send them out or send them to work camps. That's it. If they're not supposed to be here, they should be happy if they're getting sent back to their own country. And by the way, that's the way a lot of other countries do it right now anyway. So like whenever I'm advocating for this and people think that I'm being extreme, that's not extreme at all. Many countries in the world do this right now. Horrible take? It's not. Somebody shouldn't be here if they're illegal. It's that simple. What are they doing here if they're illegal? Isn't due process to find out whether they're here illegally? Well, I mean, if they do find that out, yeah, of course. I mean, like, what I'm saying is that due process is not the same for everybody, right? Like, the process to remove an illegal is different than the process to put somebody who's, like, a murderer in jail, right? So, very clearly, you should apply the process for the situation at hand. But these people want to create infinite levels of processes because they want to protect these people from being removed from the country. These people don't actually care about due process. They only care about the process being used as a tool to make it harder for their opponents to achieve their goal. That's it. They don't actually care about due process.
Let's get to that verdict. On the felony count, the jury decided Dugan is guilty of obstructing a federal agency. On count 2, a misdemeanor, the jury decided the judge is not guilty of concealing someone to prevent arrest.
So yes, this
somebody says, is there a specific reason why it made you care as much about illegal immigration? I feel like most people don't care either way. The reason why, I see a lot of the second order effects that illegal immigration has, like for example fraud, crime. You have school systems, emergency systems that are effectively also like overwhelmed by the amount of people that are in the system, right? Like you go to an emergency room, there's a bunch of people that can't speak English there. Probably a lot of them are illegal. Like I know it's not politically correct to say, but we all know this is true. And so anyway, there's that. There's, you go to the DMV, you have the same relative problems, right? And you have the housing issues as well. And then also, like, I live in Austin, Texas, and I've seen the effects that mass illegal migration has had on Austin, Texas. And it's been bad. It's been bad. Like, and I know how it is because I've seen it happen. And so a lot of these people that live in like these northern states, they don't really know, the effects of mass migration or anything like that because they don't have those people coming here. It's unnecessary stress. Yeah, exactly. And I think more than half the country doesn't like illegal immigration. And the reason why I'm so extremely against it and why I hate the people that are doing it so much is that I view it to be a profound betrayal of your country and of your other countrymen. Whenever you are signing your country up to have to pay for like infinite foreign illegals and, like effectively like making them compete for housing and everything like that is an effective betrayal of your country by supporting this, by advocating for it, and by promoting it. And I'm not talking, everybody always likes to misunderstand and say that, oh, well, what about the legal immigrants? Nobody's even talking about that. It's not even part of the conversation. Like, we're talking explicitly about illegal migration and illegal immigrants. So that's it. Go to jail, get slammed. Yeah, exactly. People who don't care are stupid. Well, I think that they don't see it as a direct problem because they probably haven't thought about it a lot. But like, if you think about it, you're gonna see how that's how it is. Or see that's the way it is, like 100%. Waste resource processing all the illegals through the system, so many secondary and tertiary effects pouring that many resources into it. Exactly. And it's all done by design. This is what I said before about how Karens like to create bureaucracies to avoid accountability. This is a great example of it.
Convicted of the felony. So if you think about it, that is like the worst case scenario because she had a law license that now is probably going to be suspended because she's a convicted felon. Then you also have something like her judgeship. How many convicted felons can be judges?
Ashley, who testified in the Dugan trial, would not say whether he would ask for Dugan's resignation. In an emailed statement from a spokesperson, Ashley said it would be inappropriate for me to comment. Judge Dugan remains prohibited from exercising the powers of a circuit court judge under an existing order of the Wisconsin Supreme Court, which remains in effect.
And it allows things like your rights to vote and your right to carry firearms. She's lost all of that. So this judge has some real issues on her hands when it comes to this particular issue because she is a convicted felon when she gets
gotcha, bitch.
And this case vindicates me a little bit because, mind you guys, I was just suffering with a brain tumor, right?
I thought this was the guy. I was wondering. I was like, didn't I see this guy on Twitter? So he's already back.
case first came across my desk, I'm like, oh, she's obviously going to be convicted. And all my
Yeah.
liberal friends, no, she's not going to get convicted.
Yep. Anybody supporting this shit, we need to do whatever we can to make them have to live with the consequences of this value. Like, this is why I was so happy whenever, you know, they sent all those illegals to Martha's Vineyard and to, like, New York. We should keep doing that. We should overload their systems with illegals until it completely collapses them, and then we'll see how much they like it. That's what we should do.
No, Nate, you don't know what you're talking about. But guess what? She was convicted.
Yep.
Because the evidence was over.
Shit was funny,
and
exactly.
all those liberal attorneys that I know, they didn't have brain tumors, so I don't think they have that excuse. But
Please
let
stop
me know
busting
what
him
you
here in
feel
New York.
about this
Quit
particular
voting for
verdict
people
in the
that want him to
comments.
stay.
I think there's no other option because she did what they allege she did. And
Yeah.
if you believe helping someone evade arrest when they're in the middle of their criminal activity is something that you should be okay to do, then I disagree with you. I think she went too far in trying to
It's
be an
obvious that she went too far. It's not even a question.
advocate, and she should have just been a judge.
Yeah.
Well, if you like this type of content, don't forget
And this is the other thing. This is the reason. Like, I hate this idea that we can't prosecute and go after judges. I think if you see a judge that's constantly making rulings and decisions that are biased and based off of like some sort of political goal, we should take that person and put them in jail. We should. I think that's a good idea. Because really, what is this person doing? This person is taking advantage of and co-opting the legal system in order to push their worldview. It's like, what's the difference between that and taking bribes? It's not really a big difference.
Subscribe to look at YouTube stuff. My name is Nate the Lawyer. I'm out of here.
Oh, yeah. I am a big fan of holding judges accountable. And I hope that's what happens. I want to see a lot more than that. And they bust a bunch here at upstate New York and kicked all the women out in that ad hoc women's shelter in Motel 6 and filled them with illegals. They completely destroyed the property within months. Good. Hopefully it gets worse. I am an advocate of hopefully make it as bad as possible. Make it as extremely unpleasant as possible. And that way, maybe people like that will start paying attention. Liberal link the video. Yeah, I've never watched any of Nate the Warrior's videos before. This is my first one. And I really like this guy. I do. I mean, I think he's got the most... And he has such a reasonable take on it. Like, I mean, you know, he's not like... I will pause his video of like legal analysis and be like, yeah, we should crucify this person. And it's like, okay, yeah, continue. And it's like, yeah, so she broke the law by doing this. Like, yeah, we need to put all these people in a jail and make them work for free. And it's like, you know, like, my values on this are I don't think that, I think I'm moderate. I do. I think I'm the most moderate person. But unfortunately, in a world that's been radicalized, accountability seems to be extreme. Bring back burning on a stake. Would I want to burn people on a stake again? Absolutely. 100%. Yeah, public stoning too? Yeah, fun for the whole family. Exactly. Yeah, why not? Plug it hanging? Yes, eat their meat? Maybe. I don't know. It depends on if they taste good. Those pretty much went away. I don't hear about that ever.
I got kids who I can understand what the process.
I'm gonna be real. Like I think to myself, it's like, how many of the ones before we had body cams were also bullshit? I bet probably a lot.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to be open and honest with you. Yeah, it has evidence in it. So whoever. I was with you. I didn't get to take a look at it. I don't know. I mean, he had it with him, though. He had it with him. He actually had it in his hand. Here. In his possession. So whether he's holding it for you or something happened, it's going to be evidence for it. Huh? You don't have to wait till Monday. Our detectives are now because of what happened. They said it's very serious what happened. It's not like a simple death. If someone, no, but I mean, he brandished the gun.
I don't know why you would bring a gun. So that's crazy. Bring a gun to rob T-Mobile.
They're not going to sit there and interrogate you, but they want to talk to you about what went on.
I've never seen the firearm in my entourage, so I'm not going to say that he has a firearm.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've never seen it.
Dumped it in here as opposed to in the car.
We don't want a kid.
Yeah, picking up a gun.
Oh, what's
Next question from Big Tony, aka Cash Money, who says, "Good evening, Mr. Gravano. Could we please get an update on your health journey? Have you done any more detoxes recently? And if so, how are you feeling? All the best, Grazie."
Thank you. No, I didn't do another detox. They call it an oil change. I'm really thinking of it. Maybe in another month or two, I'm going to do it again. When I did it, the oil change, I got more energy from it. And some people said my skin looked better. It became a little more reddish and it felt a little smoother. I don't know if that had the effect of it. I just had one of the people who worked with me and for me. Her name is Catherine, and she just went last week, I think it is. She did this oil change. And she said, she called me up the other day, yesterday actually, and she says, Sammy, I feel a lot more energy. She says, and I wear glasses. She says, I actually could see better a little bit. I said, same thing happened to me. I had more energy, I slept better.
Run rackets in the joint or lay low?
No, they move around like all the other inmates. They make friends with other inmates. Battalion guys and mafia guys generally stick together a lot more. So you're sitting at a table. Every time I wound up sitting at a table, there was always 4 or 5 Italians, or we were all sat together. And, not that, we wouldn't sit with other people or stuff like that. And it's not racism in there. There's some of it is in there, but not a lot, believe it or not. A lot of people just get along. They want to do their time and get out. And we're all in the same boat, whether you're white, black, Hispanic, Italian. It really don't make a big difference. But you usually, gravitate to your own kind. Unless the guy's a dick, then you want to get away from him. Italian or no Italian.
Iron King X, who was worse to deal with, your boss or your wife?
I think every guy will say, my wife. But I gotta say the truth, my wife was a sweetheart. What I put her through being married to her, not intentionally, but she lived a rough life. I know it now with all the shit that she went through because of me, especially when I cooperated. But, so I know a lot of guys want to say their wife, but I really can't say my wife. So I would not say that.
Johnny Landon 146. Hi boss, how long did you know Gotti before carrying out the Paul hit? And why was he so comfortable to ask you for help with it?
Well, I didn't know him as a child growing up. After he got made, I got made in 1976. He came out of prison and got made in 1977. So, and then I started that. He became a MAID member and I got to know him. I got very friendly with him. This whole thing came up with Angelo Ruggiero's tapes and put Gotti and Angelo Ruggiero and that whole crew in the crosshairs. And Castellano made his own mistakes. Frankie DeChico, when I met with him, convinced me that the right move would be to help Gotti and his crew, take Castellano out. John Gotti will make him the boss, will be the power behind the throne Frankie the Chico would become an underboss immediately. I would become a full-blown captain immediately. I was only an acting captain. So I shook Frankie's hand and agreed to, it was more him. I went because of him. I wasn't in the business of drugs with John Gotti and Angelo Ruggiero, but that was the decision that, you know, Frankie made, Frankie the Chico, and I went along with that decision.
J New York City 94 says, "Hey Sammy, I grew up with a neighbor who said she had an uncle named Funzy who knew you. Were you friends with a maid guy named Funzy?"
There was a guy who was much older than me, Funzy, and if that's the guy, he's got to be a lot older than me, a good 15, 20 years older than me. If that's the guy you're talking about, yeah, I was pretty friendly with him. And then there was a couple of younger guys who they called Funzy too. So there's a good possibility I knew him.
P1234, when John Gotti told Neil that he was planning to hit Paul Castellano, why didn't Neil tell Paul? And when you were the underboss to John Gotti, would you have told Gotti if there was a plot to kill him?
Well, let me go with the first part of the question. Neil wouldn't tell Paul about the plot, but he also wouldn't help us because he thought that John Gotti was wrong. Frankie the Chico had a meeting with John Gotti, and Neil told John Gotti, "You guys broke every fucking rule in the book, and now you want to kill the boss. Why? What the fuck did he do?" So he really wasn't happy, but he also wouldn't go against John Gotti and Frankie the Chico and me and everybody else who was involved. So he just stayed. He wouldn't help us, but he wouldn't hurt us. And what's the other part of that question?
When you were the underboss to Gotti, would you have told him if there was a plot to kill him?
I would absolutely. I would have killed you in a fucking minute. I was loyal to him, and we knew we were at war. Of course, if I knew there was a plot, we would go after the plot, we would kill them. And you gotta remember another thing, I was part of that hit, a big part of that hit. So if there was a plot against Sean Gotti, it was gonna be against me and Frankie the Chico as well. Frankie the Chico died 3 months after we did the Castellano. It was blown up in a car. So if there was gonna be a plot to kill John Gotti, it would be against me as well. And of course we would strike out.
Got an interesting question from Abhina, who says, "Hey Sammy, in Goodfellas, Billy Bats insults Jimmy and Henry for being Irish, which limited them to associates. Ironic since Bats himself was Irish on his mother's side. What do you think of this?"
All you have to be is Italian on your father's side to become a maid member. It doesn't matter what the mother is. She could be Chinese, she could be Japanese, she could be Irish, she could be anything. I even think she could be a black woman, it doesn't matter.
TJ928, "Hey Sammy, I'm Navajo and fascinated by Willie Boy because he's the only native I've heard of in the mob. Do you know what tribe he was in, and are there any stories?"
I don't remember what tribe he was with. You know, I heard a couple of stories, but I really don't know for sure. But Willie Boy was a good guy, tough guy, good guy. He hated John Gotti because John Gotti would abuse him, and he was really a tough guy. He's not a guy you would want to abuse. He would fuck with him and whatever, try to abuse him. And Willie Boy hated him for that.
Gurry Gur 9380. "Did Sammy know some of the Sicilian Cosa Nostra bosses, mainly Salvatore Totorina? I heard that Rina wanted to get Gotti killed as well."
I don't know Salvatore Totorina. I knew of him. He was a boss in Italy, Sicily, extremely dangerous. I don't even know if he knew John Gotti. I think he died before John Gotti was, became a boss and did what he did. but he was way up in the mountains in Sicily, and he was in wars in Italy and Sicily. I don't think he wanted to kill John. I don't think he knew of him.
Question from Abraham. Sammy, how common was it for made guys to move from one family to another? Did that happen often, or was it pretty rare?
Impossible. It don't happen at all. They don't, once you're made in a family and you know their secrets, that's where you live and that's where you die. You're not exchanged to another family. Now, it may have happened once or twice, but if it did, that's how rare it is. It's not done. Once you're made, now, you could be an associate of one family and then wind up with another family. But once you're made, you took an oath to that family, you know their secrets, they're not giving you up.
User 4403, did Big Paul ever kill anybody to make his bones? And you would think to become the boss of a family you would have to.
No, not necessarily that you have to. Most men do. Because coming up through the streets, it's a tough grind. But I don't think Paul Castellano ever killed anybody. But I'll give you an example. He ordered, only God knows how many hits. 40,
Favorite
50,
asshole
100, who
doing
knows how many
tonight?
hits he authorized to get done.
What's the
So
matter?
he
Can't
wasn't
find what you're looking for?
a pussy, so to speak, just because he didn't shoot somebody. He didn't have no problem of getting you killed and being part of it. But, you know, usually a boss, it's not because you're a shooter, a gangster. It's a combination. In other words, people said I was a combination of a gangster and a racketeer.
Don't let the door hit you on your way out.
A little thuggerish and understands the streets in a tough way. And you also want that guy to understand business and being fair to people. And like Tato would tell me, we could use violence, we should use it only as a last. So that's the kind of a boss you want. Somebody like that, like Tato said. Somebody who could kill you or give you clemency and let you off the hook. You want somebody who's fair. You never want Roy DeMeo to be a boss. Gas pipe, they made him an underboss. There's another guy killing people for just bullshit reasons. You don't want that either.
Question from Mika. How does it feel to age like fine wine?
I don't know. I think I got a little vinegar in me. I don't know.
Clan Rolly would like to know, what method did you use for survival?
You know, you use your skills for survival. You know, I would always, like when I went to a meeting and I had a meeting with somebody in a restaurant and it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I would always be 20 minutes, a half hour early. I would want to see what cars pull in, if there are people hanging around outside. When I went into the restaurant, I always sat with my back against the wall, so if something was coming at me, I could see it coming rather than getting caught from behind. So you develop skills like that. You know what you would do to kill somebody, so you automatically try to avoid that situation. You want to put your back to the wall, you want to watch what's going on, who walks in, what does he look like, what is he doing, things like that.
Question from Animus. Who is the most famous person you've ever met?
Most famous person I ever met. Well, I met Frank Sinatra and people like that in show business. I met some people. And in the mob, there's guys who were bosses, so a lot of them were famous, very famous. I went on a date with Joey Heatherton one time. I was a made guy already. And so she was famous. And that's about it.
I have Chronic the Hedgehog, who says, I used to make your food when you were in Powers Max, Arizona in 2002. I'm glad to know that it didn't make you feel sick.
Yeah, I guess not. I don't remember getting sick over food.
Long Road Home 420. Did you ever make good money off of movies that you were in? I guess people that played you.
Yeah, no, I never got a kickback from anybody who played me in a movie or anything like that, or even mentioned me in a book. I'm mentioned in rap songs. You know, when you're mentioned so many times in public, you become public domain. Anybody can say your name, use it, as long as it's not something where they can sue you. There's nothing you can do about it, and they don't need permission.
Question from VP General 90. In your opinion, who is more dangerous, Albert Anastasia or Carmen Galante?
Yeah, Anastasia by far.
All right, Matt, do we want to switch over to TikTok? Let's give it a whirl.
All right, hey guys. So we got a lot of questions on TikTok too, so I'm gonna ask some of these for Sammy. Manuel Velez 146 asks, did Billy Bats actually exist?
Yes, he did.
And Michelle asked, did the mob ever retaliate using their wives?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Mercy from TikTok asked, how has your identity changed during your years without the family?
I got a lot more wrinkles. So that's one of the ways.
Sad Story Bro asked, did you guys, meaning your specific mafia group, have any hand in politics?
If we could bribe somebody, we would bribe somebody and went into politics a little bit here and there. Maybe not all the way up the chain, but there's a lot of mob guys who did have hookups with politicians, senators, congressmen, people like that. There was a lot of stories of politics.
I have a really interesting, funny question from someone named Question Everything. He wanted to know if you've ever had a paranormal experience or if you've ever seen a UFO.
No.
Not once?
No. I mean, I saw some people who look like they could be Martians, but I don't think they were Martians.
Me too, Sammy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, moving on. Rules for Fools 77 is asking, when Louis Melito wanted his own crew, who do you think would have been in his crew?
He didn't want his own crew. I mean, listen, he made some mistakes and he was, hungry to get out of it, and he made stupid remarks and stupid things. When he first got out of jail, he didn't reach out to us. Before he knew about the plot, and yet before he went to jail, knowing about the plot, he didn't tell Tommy Bilotti or Paul, but he literally made a deal with starting a Shylock book with them and doing things with them. You know we're going to kill him. Why would you go partners with them? So it came down that Frankie DeChico said, as soon as he comes out, we're going to kill him. Because what he's doing is that if Paul and Tommy Bilotti win the war, he's friends with them. If we win the war, he's friends with us. He's playing both sides. I got him a pass when Frankie DeChico was killed 3 months after Paul. Then he came out of prison. Instead of killing him, I spoke with John Gotti and got him a pass. Second thing he did wrong, he spoke to Joey Bilotti, Tommy Bilotti's brother, who's a tough guy, and he said, I think we're in the same boat. Sammy's getting bigger and bigger. He's now the Kunzieta family. I think we're in the same boat. Joey Bilotti said, no, I'm not in your fucking boat. I'm not in anybody's boat. I'm with him. I was put under him. He treats me real fucking good. My brother was in the mob. He made a lot of bad moves and he got whacked. I'm okay with that. So I'm not in your boat. And then he was put with someone else, Big Louis Valerio. He was very disrespectful. And John had him killed.
I got some super chats from Marco, who says, greetings from Venezuela, boss.
How you doing, bro?
El Prophet says, Sammy, have you seen...
Where's he from?
Venezuela.
Venezuela, we got your president. We locked his ass up, bro. How you doing, bro? Yeah, wasn't that a shithole, this MCC New York? What a shithole. Bro, I was there a lot of times. Every time I would wind up in this fucking place. with the mics going through the sides of the walls and everything. It was crazy.
El Prophet says, Sammy, have you seen the video on YouTube of Billy Bright talking on the street as well as Tato at Carlo's funeral?
Billy Bright?
Mm-hmm.
No, but Billy Bright was killed in prison. It was a friend of mine, and he's not in that picture with Tato. Billy Bright wasn't even alive, I think, at that point. But I don't think he was in that picture with Tato.
I've got Johnny Landon 146 who says the story that you told about Buddy from the Westies was super funny. I couldn't stop laughing at your impersonations of him.
What impression? What did I do?
I have no idea.
All right. So as long as you enjoyed it, that's cool.
Gurry Gurgur is back again. Did Sammy know any of the high-ranked Sicilian bosses?
The ones that were in Sicily and stayed in Sicily, like Salvatore Tortorina and those guys, no. I didn't know any of them personally. I mean, I heard of them, but I didn't know them personally.
Mm-hmm. I've got Desmond 2683.
Dude,
What are
he's
some ways
half-assed
that can get
half-ass
not only
answering
yourself,
these questions.
but also someone else killed?
You're invited to a special audience screening of the world-famous K-Rock doc.
We were the first to play the biggest bands in the history of music.
With producer Adam Carolla.
I made the K-Rock documentary because I kept running into people who had their own stories about K-Rock and their memories of K-Rock.
Featuring, no doubt, Green Day, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blink-182, Depeche Mode, The Cure, U2.
Los Angeles has a musical punch. That fist has KROQ right on it.
K-Rock is where everything happens.
We started broadcasting September 2nd of 1972.
We didn't have any listeners.
The world-famous K-Rock doc.
It captures a time that will never exist again.
Saturday, June 20th at 8 p.m. Tickets at adamcarolla.com.
Oh, 8 p.m. I guess we gotta wait till it gets dark. Yeah, it's not gonna be a whole doc. Whole doc's 3.5 hours.
Let me ask.
It'll be the abridged version.
You're listening to No Doubt. Let me ask you if you get this joke. I went and saw No Doubt at the Sphere the other night, and while we were walking in, obviously they're fans are of a certain age now.
Mm-hmm.
There was a woman walking next to us, and she had on fishnet stockings, Doc Marten boots, crop top, pink hair, with a cane.
Wow.
Who was a little hobbled over.
We're now there.
Yep, she was walking a little slow, and she was a little hunched over, and I looked at my cousin Tim, and I go, that's what we call osteoporosis.
Oh, that's good.
And he goes, huh?
Yeah, he doesn't.
It's like, never mind, dude.
He doesn't get it. Yeah.
Damn it.
He may be a
Yeah.
specials needs person.
See?
God damn,
Oh,
right
you are
here.
good, man. That's why
Come
you-
right back with Scott.
That's why you get the star. God
That's why
damn it.
I get the star. Dawson didn't get it, but that's all right. He got Scotty. Was it Scotty Brussels?
Yeah, Scotty Brussels. Makes sense.
Well,
I didn't say
look,
it was good.
She's got a cane, and Kirk Cameron's a grandfather. So we're old.
what?
We're all old.
Oh,
Everyone's
Lordy,
old.
man.
Hang on, I gotta run to the bathroom right quick. Let me tell you something, Rudy. Young comedic Rudy.
Please.
I learned a long time ago I don't joke in front of certain people. You put me out to dinner with Kimmel and Jeff Ross and Cousin Sal, I'm a joke machine.
Sure.
You put me somewhere with an audience that understands it, I'm a joke machine. If you filmed me talking the last 175 sit-downs, lunch I had with my mom, and you ask 1,000 college students, what is that guy's profession? Just from listening to him have this conversation, they'd go, taxidermist? A CPA? I don't know. No, he's a comedian. No. He hasn't said one fucking funny thing. And two, I figured it's a better life. There are people that don't get any jokes, and then there are people like my family who don't care to get the joke, which is even worse. They're actively fighting the joke versus not just getting the joke. No jokes. You get no soup and no jokes. You're not worth it. Why am I burning my fucking calories with your fucking dumb ass?
Yeah.
Who just sits there and doesn't get any references and anything. You should film me talking to certain people. You don't even know what I do.
The family text message, there's always one or two people that don't respond to anything because it's not worth our time.
Right.
They're never going to get anything we talk about. And they go, how come you never because I'm like, you guys don't understand what I'm talking about, but I'm on fire when I'm with all my other friends. It's
Stop
just not worth
trying.
it. Yeah.
You have there's people you literally have to, and also there's people like you say, like, you want to tell Dr. Drew's wife a story, you're not getting that story out. I guarantee that story. You will not get to finish that story. There's plenty of women mostly. I don't even start with the story because you're not even gonna get there.
Yeah.
So you have to, it's the great Kenny Rogers said, you got no one to hold up and one to shut the fuck up. And I do it in front of people all day long.
Yeah, they either poo-poo the story or they commandeer the story and make it about them. And then either which way, you're never going to get through it.
Everything reminds them of their own story. And then also, my mom never got any references to anything, so you cannot... If you get zero references, then you get zero jokes or quite a few less jokes. All right, what do you got?
Do some news, huh? Hassan Piker. Well, the far-left streamer Hassan Piker has been visibly rattled by the federal investigation into whether his jaunt to Cuba back in March violated U.S. sanctions. I heard you were going off about this earlier today, but I do believe we have some video.
I was going off about him,
Yeah, about him, yeah.
And I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's not great. The news is not great. Okay? I mean, it's bullshit, but still not great that, they're after your boy. They're up my ass. And I'll obviously get into it right now. I'll tell you all about it, but let me blast off real quick. We will free you, brother. Yeah, free me. Free me. Free me. I can't believe I'm saying that.
This guy, I mean, look, he's an idiot, as you learned from the clip I played. And Jeff Bezos, you think you're 10 billion times smarter than a school teacher? You're more luckier. You're a zillion times more lucky than a school teacher. By the way, can we stop building up school teachers? They're some of the shittiest people I know. Somebody said something, and it was a great example, because I'm LA City Unified District. It was a funny thing. Everyone do this experiment. You go in front of an auditorium of 500 people, and you go, everybody who's had a great school teacher who made a difference in their life, raise your hand. And everyone's hand goes up. And then you go, now, everyone who's had 2 great school teachers, keep your hand up, and everyone's hand goes down because you got 1 for 12. You're 1 for fucking 12. 1 for 12. I got Mr. Backus in the 5th grade. He wasn't a dick to me. He was semi-nice, and that was my 1 out of 12 grades.
Yeah.
So fuck right off. And by the way, my counselors and stuff did jack shit. They're there to get paid. They fucking hate working. COVID exposed all their lazy asses, so go fuck yourself with the school teachers. And by the way, the nurses and the school teachers he talks about, the only one worse than school teachers turns out to be nurses.
Yeah.
All
yeah,
right.
anytime that, you see kids that are having such a tough time when it comes to like social studies or anything like that, but they excel in shop class, they go, you know what? College is for you. It's like, no, dipshit, go put him in a tech school. That's what he's supposed to do.
Yes. I was class clown. I was the life of the party, and I never had one teacher come up and talk to me about drama or acting or comedy or any. It was never just shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
Well, some of the video I was watching of this guy going down to Cuba, and a lot of it felt like somebody pointed it out. They used the phrase communist tourism, where they were pointing out all of the great things about Cuba. And I thought, why don't you run on down to Miami? Why don't you do a little companion piece? Go to Miami and find somebody who floated here on a Goodyear from Cuba.
Right.
Ask them how much they love that country.
Yes, it's a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit. I don't want him prosecuted. I don't like the lawfare bullshit. If he committed a crime, he committed a crime. But if not, I don't want him rounded up and sent somewhere just because I hate him and I hate his ideas.
Agreed.
Although you could argue his ideas are destructive and dangerous. All right.
All right, The View, Sunny Hostin sought to downplay the roughly $1 to $2 billion in damages left behind by the 2020 Black Lives Matter rioter. She was talking about this on The View recently.
I just think we need to make it clear that there can be no comparison between the Black Lives Matter movement and what we saw on January 6th. I just want to make that clear.
I love that. Oh,
they all clap.
They all clap. All the dumb, unemployable seals in the audience clap. But they're flippers, Garrett. Yes, go ahead.
We saw on January 6th. I just want to make that clear. There were very limited destruction of property and violence during the uprising.
Everything's burning.
Mostly burning.
All right, just stop for a second. Let's just do a little process of elimination. First off, your fucking summer of love thing lasted months, at least a week.
Yes.
Best I could tell, J6 is about 2 to 3 hours and done. I mean, the actual skirmish part is under an afternoon. So, just by nature, whether it was an illness or was COVID or was anything you don't want in a society, a divorce. You know, you go, I had a horrible divorce. Horrible. How long did it take? It was from about noon on Wednesday till 3:30. I'd go, well, fuck you. I got fucked for 3 years. Are you kidding? No, mine was worse.
Yeah.
Well, how could it be worse? How could it be worse just in the length of time? Like you go, what's horrible? Horrible. A riot is horrible. Okay, a riot is horrible. All right. If a riot lasts 30 days, that's horrible. If a riot lasts 1 day, that's much less horrible, even if everything is completely equal.
Mm-hmm.
It's still 30 times less than your fucking riots.
Yeah.
Also, you franchised your riots. We had our riot in one spot. So what if somebody said, well, it's the worst thing ever, but it only took place in Birmingham, Alabama, and it was from noon to 3. Well, yours is all over the country and takes place night after night in multiple locations. So you're already 30 times as bad, and it's spread out. It's going on simultaneously. You're rioting in Portland, and you're rioting in Seattle, and you're rioting in Virginia. All right, so in Minneapolis, obviously. Okay, so you're spread out everywhere. There's thousands of people involved instead of hundreds and tens and hundreds of thousands of people involved. Also, what's a real riot with 0 fires? Like, when you go 0 fucking fires, you dumb bitch.
Yeah.
When you have no fire, you don't have destruction of structures and property. You have busted windows, you have knocked over potted plants and, I don't know, bricks pulled out from a paveway or something. But you really, minus the fire part, you really don't have the damage. If it's like, if we just said, swap out the Capitol for you owning a bodega that burnt to the goddamn ground, or a CVS pharmacy that burnt to the ground. But if you just swapped out and said, my house. Oh, there was a big problem in my house. What happened? Somebody broke the window, and then the carpet got torn up. Yeah, but that's not burned to the ground.
Yeah, the last time I went day drinking in Washington, D.C., pretty sure the Capitol building's still there.
Still there.
But while I lived in Minneapolis, less than 20 blocks away from where the 3rd precinct was burned down, I walked outside the next morning and my yard was covered in burned ashes and debris. And that is the biggest difference, because I drove on 35W North over Lake Street and watched the structure fires happen on my way to work that next morning. So, yes, there is a huge difference.
Right. No burnings. It is No franchising. It's in one place,
Yeah.
not everywhere at once.
Yeah, I was a little pissed at Seattle. As a Minneapolis native, I was like, you pound sand, Seattle.
Yeah.
Stop fucking burning down your buildings.
One day, and by the way, the day, I mean, what time was it in D.C. when Trump said, now everyone peacefully and patriotically marched to the Capitol? I mean, it wasn't 7 a.m.
No.
There was a whole day
Yeah.
of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that was probably afternoon. So it's still, we're talking about a half-day riot over here. No weapons, no gunshots, no murders, except for the ones the Capitol Police did. Also, there's another one that's kind of crazy. Andrew, I don't know if you know, but there is a Capitol Hill policeman who's beating on a woman with a billy club, and they claim she OD'd, but she's really getting the shit beat out of her with a billy club. You ever see this?
I haven't, no.
It's newer. And by the way, both the cops were the toast of the town. You know, of course, you killed an American. You shot a woman citizen point blank in the face, and then the other one was she was beating on. But what time? When you look it up, Andrew? When did he say this? Now, obviously, Sonny Hoskins a dope, but also the audience. Okay, but the other people have to pipe up and go.
Yeah.
And also, okay, it's 1 p.m. We're
Last week, YouTuber Noah Samsen put out a response to a lawsuit served to him by podcaster Ethan Klein, with Klein suing Noah for defamation when Noah claimed that Ethan Klein backed the genocide in Gaza. Noah started a GoFundMe and began to make content to raise money to fight the lawsuits, and during it brought on iDubbbz, which got talked about online, along with showing that his final donation goal of $300,000 is to bike to Hassan Piker's house. Ethan Klein also weighed in, joking about Hassan ignoring them, while also talking about Frogan and the default judgment there. But there's lots to get into, so let's just jump in. Welcome to the internet versus Noah Samsen's lawsuit response. It starts when Noah Samsen tweets out this video with the caption, "Zionist millionaire podcaster Ethan Klein is suing me for a YouTube video. I am defending against it, but I need your help."
An Israeli-American millionaire podcaster is suing me for defamation. Hi, I'm Noah Samsen. I'm a YouTuber. I make videos about how Israel sucks. Last year I uploaded this video, the YouTubers who backed the genocide. And in response, Ethan Klein, host of the H3 podcast, filed a defamation lawsuit. Here it is. Here's the lawsuit. It's 31 pages. He's alleging that I defamed him by falsely painting him as a supporter of the genocide of Palestinians. I believe that Klein's claims are meritless, and I intend to defend against them, but to do this, I need your help. Defamation lawsuits can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I don't have that kind of money. So I started a GoFundMe, Klein v. Samsen. I set the goal for $200,000, which will be used for lawyers' fees and legal expenses. However, any funds raised above this goal will be donated directly to Palestinian aid, and any funds that go unused or are recuperated once legal proceedings conclude will also be donated. I'll be doing a fundraising marathon stream on Friday, May 22nd, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Guests include FD Signifier, Boy Boy, Denims, iDubbbz, Big Joel, Frogan, Chris Kunzler, Overzealots, and more, and a bunch more. Donation goals include chug a gallon of milk, pie in the face, hot chip challenge, shoe on head cosplay, why not, run a marathon, and more. And if we make it to $500,000, I will ride a bicycle 120 miles from San Diego to Hassan Piker's house live on stream to beg him for more money. Klein v. Samsen, GoFundMe, link in bio. Donate to defend free speech on YouTube and fund Palestinian aid. Thank you.
And then he attaches a link to a GoFundMe with the caption, "Support my legal defense." And Harley Morenstein replies, "Just pay it yourself and let everyone else donate for an actual cause. Like us, or I don't know, Palestine. You make thousands on your Patreon and barely upload. This is lazy. Begging for money."
Noah
so you don't have to
Samsen
actually work
is
in the
like
middle of a
dry
genocide
white
is
toast
crazy. And
if
Zach
dry dry white
replies,
toast
"Ethan
was
once
somehow
again
more
made
boring
for
than it
himself
actually
as the
is.
creator. How long will it take for the courts to deem him a vexatious litigant? Samson can raise money to defend himself how he sees fit. Maybe stop covering for the mentally unwell and go back to being fat." And Harley says, "Of course he can. We can donate to what we seem fit. Is donating to a lazy content creator really what we want to do? Not me. I donated to MS instead." And Zach says, "Because the only way that inbred freak is going to stop his stupid lawsuits against creators who dare to criticize him is for him to legally get his ass handed to him. If he has to pay Noah's attorneys, he might think twice trying this crap again. His case is trash, so let's hope." And Living Cheeto says, "For someone who only sues people for criticizing, he's sure been lucky winning cases instead of them being sued." And Zach says, "The other parties he goes after don't have the resources to properly defend themselves. If you don't have the money for counsel, in these cases, default judgments will be rendered." And Living Cheeto says, "Well, then you heroes can crowdsource money for his lawyer and help own Ethan. Hasn't worked out very well so far for Frogan and Caseytron." And Yawn Alert says, "Defamation is way different than Ethan exploiting the legal system to prosecute people for the very thing he made his career doing. As a public figure, he needs to prove that Noah lied. Considering everything Noah said is true, Ethan's gonna have a hard time here." Back up to Harley Morenstein, Charlie from Europe replies to him by saying, "The fact that you evil freaks use genocide as a punchline, when you're just not denying it completely, shows any decent person how scummy Ethan and his sycophants are." And then it shows various tweets from Harley where it's not a genocide. "I'm demonstrating how it's not a genocide. You don't fund a genocide. You're a genocide, not apartheid, not occupation. And this isn't what a genocide looks like, by the way." And Chad Cal replies, "As if you haven't been using Palestinians as your own personal shield for 2 years now." And Charlie replies, "You evil C's will say anything to excuse being evil C's." Hannah replies to Noah Samson with this clip in the caption, "He's been anti-genocide and provably so for over a decade. You, on the other hand, advocated for the genocide of Israel while smearing him as the one who is pro-genocide. Win or lose, I hope he drags it out long enough to bankrupt you forever."
Before there was a mass immigration of Jews from Europe and around the world to Israel, there was the Palestinians lived there. You go back on a map, it used to be called Palestine, Palestinian territory. Palestinians are a group of people. Their lineage and their heritage and they're like boxing this tiny bit of land that Israel owns, and it's fucking horrible to live there. The Israelis do a lot of fucked up shit there, like stealing their land, encroaching on their land all the time. So yeah, like this for Colombia. That's why they get censored, because it's like a genocide, it's like a Palestinian genocide. Like apartheid. The government's making certain Hamas operating that building is inhumane. Netanyahu's a piece of shit warmonger, needs to go. As a dual citizen, I love Israel and Israeli people. The Israeli government actually believes in peace and not force and violence. The ultra-right Jewish settlers are among the greatest provocateurs in the world. They're shameless, hateful, fueled by religious zeal, and enabled by the Israeli government. Forced to settling and recreating Palestinian land with for all the crimes that they are not power. And again, that I support Palestine. I don't know stress that. The terrorist attack is a consequence of Israel. I mean, and they have power balance is crazy. What do you want to say? The genocidal murder is the IDF is a genocidal criminal institution that Netanyahu to be tried for war crimes. He should immediately resign. I can tell you that the West Bank settlements are basically an act of war, and I don't really believe even that settlements are civilians in the same way that the people who are murdered are. I can tell you that what Israel's doing in Gaza is as evil can be. Blowing up, leveling neighborhoods, cutting off water, power, food. I can say that till I'm blue in the fucking face, so I don't want to hear any goddamn person saying that I'm a Zionist. I'm not a Zionist. The only reason people call me a Zionist is because I'm Jewish, so explain to me how that's not anti-Semitic. Not a Zionist. If Israelis can't imagine why some Palestinians want to do this kind of shit, then you're also part of the problem. People don't want to imagine. They don't care. It's like Israelis, we don't care about dead Palestinian babies. We just bomb it because you know what? It's a retaliation. Israel is now bombing Gaza, which is monstrous, genocidal. I don't know what more I can say.
Catherine Brodsky replies to Noah by saying, "It sounds like you falsely accused someone, you got it back, and now you are grifting to raise $200,000 instead of taking accountability." Marco says, "Noah Samson, leave this man destitute and my soul is yours." Nathaniel says, "Notice how he provides 0 examples of Ethan Klein supporting genocide, because there aren't any." And Kata Fumador replies with this clip in the caption, "I mean, if you did a live broadcast in 1944 waxing poetic about how beautiful, multicultural, and free Germany is, it wouldn't remotely be a stretch to say you support genocide."
What I want to do is show you guys how I see Israel, because you don't see that. When you listen to Hassan and you hear all these like mega lefties talking about it like it's some super racist, like crazy, like pro style of society. Like I can show you guys how beautiful, how multicultural, how like free it feels for people, or just it's a beautiful place. It is.
And Nathaniel replies, "Do you think Israel's action in Gaza are remotely comparable to Germany, the country that systematically murdered 6 million Jews on the basis of their race, not as collateral damage because soldiers were hiding under and inside their houses? Such a stupid analogy. Also, 20% of Israel's population are Arab Palestinians with equal rights. Remind me, how much of Germany's population were Jews who could say the same?" Will Mineker replies to Noah Samson by quote tweeting him and saying, "I got sued by a similarly disreputable scumbag for saying something true. true. So believe me when I say it costs money to fight these bozos and beat them at their own game. Over on r/H3H Productions, Cheese Queen also posted Noah Samson's video. He did a short and also a full video on YouTube. And Conference Brilliant replies, "What happened to Noah saying Ethan will never sue?" And Taurus Active 2003 says, "I think he just went after women." And V. Lewis says, "Now the narrative is he only sues poor, widow, innocent Palestine supporters. The goalpost has moved to get with the program." Sensitive Bird says, Now he labels Ethan as a millionaire. How convenient. Don't want to call him a genocide supporter now, eh?" And Breaky Cho says, "Ethan Klein, a millionaire, as opposed to Noah Samson, a broke boy." And Shalashaska says, "Failed podcast host. Now we back to millionaire." And Sexy Koala Juice says, "I saw a comment saying that Ethan is just suing Noah for relevancy. Why the f would Ethan be suing a smaller YouTuber who gets way less views for relevancy?" And Automatic Wing replies, "Noah, the guy who was trying every commentary YouTuber shtick while video editing on the side for others until he struck gold with October 7th. Many such cases." Always Open Mouth says, "Of course, another dubious GoFundMe." Also appearances from Ian, Denims, and Frogan for his marathon fundraising stream. Lol. And Muted Bumblebee says, "Which is funny because they could have raised so much more if voted against Trump. I don't think their audiences can afford to donate money since everything has skyrocketed due to the war. Gas prices, groceries, cost of living, etc. But hey, this would have been the same, or worse, if Harris was president. Anyways, what happened to all the pro-Palestine people against Harris? Now that Trump has been in office for almost 2 years, I rarely see them attack Trump since that genocide is still going." Over on r/leftoversH3, posts a compilation of various comments left on Noah's video with the caption, "Vile, sadistic comments left by some." And first we have a comment here left by Trailers from Hell that says, "Watching left-wing one bigger than the next, infight to this point and having to resort to e-begging is just, the cherry on top. For yourself, of course." And another comment by Sculpting Scrot who says, "28K is even close to enough. Please vlog yourself visiting your local food pantry when this is all said and done. I won't come until then. I want to see you throwing out your food veggies and shrimp first and then I'll explode. Best O of my life, I'm absolutely sure of it. 420 is my birthday, says I hope you enjoy everything." Larry Sanderson says, "Can't wait until he takes everything you own." Jimmy Lee says, "Hey man, this lawsuit has nothing to do with fair use and everything to do with defamation. This house, I know you tailors Richard and Chris have a very Simon says, "Soy boy." Jimmy Lee says, "Defend free speech. You don't have the right to make stuff up about it and post it to your millions of fans. That's called the defamation, moron." Fitzboy says, "Crazy how Ethan Klein has been calling out Israel long before the attack on the festival, which is when most of you YouTubers even learned about the conflict, but because he realizes nuances about the whole situation, you dumb f call him a genocide denier. Really, you all didn't even know about Palestine until the past couple of years when it became cool to talk about. Maybe just don't jump onto reactionary bandwagons and say and you won't get sued. Don't defame anyone and you won't get hit with a defamation slap. Really simple, bud." Ang Hush says, found out. Like you, Ethan is also an incredibly flawed individual who's made terrible choices. The cheating the community's portrayal of him has been unfair since he was caught with outright lies. I would say both you inhabit the lunatic fringe space that most content creators exist within, and the world would be significantly better without your support.
Where are they coming from?
What's he says, "Ethan is going to take all the money donated to Tron." Nuts Fatsman says, "Lamau, you deserve it too. Hope you get what's coming." Static Fanatic says, "Good. You're a nasty piece of work. I hope he takes everything from you." 0568 says, "Yeah, man, don't slander. Pony up in court a bit." Let's see.
Dude, they're on the roof? Where the hell are they all coming from?
Says,
Are they falling from the sky?
This GoFundMe money is going to Ethan and his business. Burnsy Buns says, "All the other lawsuits you have already funded are going horribly. Be smart and donate your money to Palestinian aid instead. Not this chubby white boy who tries to start the clouds. He'll run out of about 28K in a few months and be back for my words." Trumpet says, Gage Cox says, "Funny you call him a millionaire now that you're being
Holy crap.
If your supporters had any brains at all, they would not donate to your GoFundMe, because that money will be going straight to Ethan. Yeah, free speech is awesome. So is accountability and consequences, lol. Maybe you'll think twice now before spewing for profit. The Ethan Klein industrial complex is huge because of jokes like you." Priskia Pixels says, "Hahaha, get wrecked." DW Boy says, "Not even a Ethan fan but came to laugh at you." And lastly, Bree says, "Well deserved, and I hope Ethan wins and I takes everything you own. I hope he leaves you destitute." And Coach McWork replies, "I refuse to believe anyone with a fully functioning brain leaves comments like this. They're either literally 14 years old, or they're the most mentally ill, socially maladjusted people you could possibly imagine." And a deleted user says, "They could be sock puppets too. DGG and H3 do love using dummy accounts to amplify their narratives. And Warbio says H3 is poison. Flooding your timeline says, and fights to the point of holding multiple marathon streams with popular leftist commentators as guests. Lumafau. And Abundant Amethyst says, it's all a facade. They all hate each other. And Sufficient Dakin replies, unlike Ethan, who is well liked by all, he never infights with his own former friends. It's not like the models from Teddy Fresh disavowed him or anything. It's not like all his former co-hosts stay far away from him. It's not like his own housekeeper is suing him. It's not like he's not allowed to see his own nieces and nephews, etc. Good News Boom says, these are flat out just bad people. There's no YouTuber that I get excited about imagining as destitute and desperate, including Ethan Klein, who I complain about all the time. Why is it thrilling to anyone to see inconsequential people suffering? Unironically, the world needs a little more actual peace and love. And Uma Palma says, I think it's the same as with right-wingers getting excited about ICE or Zionists with Israel, even chuds that like watching the show Cops. It's one of the few situations they feel they have control over, even if vicariously. They're able to see their guilt become actualized by the long arm of the institution, since they can't do it themselves. Over on RH3H3 Productions, Andrew Shaw posts this with a caption, to his house to beg for the money. Ian says he totally texts with Hassan, but he's not much of a communicator.
You and Hassan, do you guys talk much?
Occasionally. We'll text. He's not really much of a communicator in that way. But it's like, you know.
So I set the bike ride goal at 500,000 because I was waiting for him to text me back. So I didn't know if he was gonna be okay with me showing up to his house. But
oh yeah, it wasn't he
in the promo for the stream. The goal was set to 500,000 that I would ride my bike to Hassan's house to ask him for more money. So it was like just a little bit, but I said it there because yeah, he didn't text me back. So, but then he eventually.
Wait, where would you be riding?
San Diego. It's like 120 miles. Yeah. So it was a big marathon. So now, unfortunately, now I don't have to ride 120 miles on a bike, which really sucks.
Well, there's always time to do another stream later in the year.
That's true.
With new goals. And, you know, it doesn't have to involve riding a bike. You know, paintball gun, rat traps. Could be all sorts of cool stuff.
Woodworking. Could make a box.
Yeah. I could take. Oh, dude. You know, like a plane? I could take a plane to your back and shave off a little hair of...
Wait, hold on.
Little...
I'm getting an Amber Alert. I'm so sorry.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's actually not nice. That's bad.
Can you guys hear that?
No, we can't hear it.
Okay. I just got a total Amber Alert. You were talking about... They're okay. A planer? I don't know about a planer. My dad, did a lot of woodworking and stuff.
Yeah. That's been a fun tool to use. Shaving off like little strips of wood.
Mm-hmm.
Says they should try messaging him on Snapchat. We know he looks at that. And Throwaway Shpee replies, only if they're a college girl showing him nudes, lol. And Same Internet says, or high school girl. And Drywolf replies, the moderators of Livestream Fail specifically messaged me after I said this about Hassan and said it was unfounded targeted harassment, Lamau. My comment had like 2 upvotes. Ben PG says, holy sh**, I could hardly make it 2 seconds in. The level of awkwardness and embarrassment is unbelievable. I can't imagine being that embarrassing, or at least not online publicly to such a massive 850-person audience. And Alice in Slumberland says, they are both different shades of bland. And Kund Stunt says, this video would make a great sleep aid though. 2 depressing men yap about being left unread by their soulless friend, ASMR. Ethan Klein also reacts to the clip and Yeet posted with a caption, Ethan Klein drops a series of IG stories going at Hassan's communications, or lack thereof, with Noah Samson, Idubbbz, and Frogan. And there is the post here by Andrew Falk, and Ethan Klein says, have they tried him on Snapchat? I hear he opens lots of messages there, along with this post where he says, funny, he always responded to me right away. I wonder why he's ignoring you guys. And this post where he says, it's so crazy that Froga is in default with all the money Hassan gave her behind the scenes. He's clearly been a big help to all of them. And GGG replies, remember when Hassan said, if I help/donate, no one will know? Apparently, not even Frogan. Lamau. Pickles says, Jesus Christ. Ethan is so annoying and pathetic. Get a hobby. Better yet, read a book or take comedy classes. Yeah. back.
I think his
Be
hobby
Normal
is suing
replies to
other
you by saying,
YouTubers.
"Man, you people are so obsessed with Hassan. It's actually sad at this point." And Jay Sharp says, "The king of petty strikes again." Over on Leftovers H3, Immediate Carpet also posts a compilation of these stories with the caption, "He's back in business." And New Belt replies, "Foul." His Fear and co-host also said
Oh
he
my
sucks
God.
at responding. No one gives a fuck, man. Also, can I bike to your house and beg for money is obviously not serious. Hassan has bigger things to care about. Foul. And Eldritch Mermaid says, "Brother is literally getting subpoenaed
How
by
they
the
ended up with
government.
so
He
much
has
rock?
other things to worry about." And Salvador Zombie says, "Actually, he hasn't. Turns out Fox News fell for a random just talking Twitter." And Eldritch Mermaid says, "Aw, damn, they got me." And Time Wonder says, "Caroline laments about how awful Hassan is at responding to any message on all platforms." And New Belt says, "Everybody begging him to use his DMs to contact the A-list celebrities that follow him are shaking as we speak." And Charm Wonder says, "Right? Like, sir, we need these collabs, lol." Saigon replies to Ethan's Instagram stories by saying, "Ethan literally took that comment from that literal thread. He can't think for himself and has to use his cult to think for him. He's always exposed to himself as that literal #1 sniper on YouTube." And See-Through Didgeridoo says, "He's been doing a Reddit detox. That was what it was. Lol." And JGDC says, "I saw that Snapchat comment over there earlier too, and it was lame the first time. Now, pure gold." Topic Unable says, "It's almost like there isn't a grand IDubs/Noah/Hassan/CPS snark conspiracy against Ethan Klein. Lo and behold, Ethan finds evidence that directly refutes his conspiratorial delusions and completely misreads it. Ethan's weird tendency to play off refutations and L's as vindications shows how detached from reality the guy is." Ignoramus X also posted in the Leftovers H3 subreddit this clip with the caption, "Noah Sampson brutally clears the air by fact-mocking drama farmers who took his joke about Hassan not answering him seriously."
Does Hassan even know you're coming? Dude, that channel, one of these channels, there's a bunch of them, clip me, like, joking about texting Hassan, and, like, him being slow at replying, and they said, Noah Sampson begged for money and Hassan Piker brutally denies him. Like, they're, like, doing fan fiction about me, because that's really not what happened. Like, we've talked about it. He knows about the bike ride. He's cool with it.
And Cheese and Adderall replies to this screenshot of the thread from the HRHU production subreddits with a caption, "Almost 1 hit of votes on the drama farming fungal sub. These people will never stop," along with a clip of Hassan singing Red Sun that was posted on the subreddit with the caption, "Hassan on his way to the courthouse to prove he's not a CCP funded asset." And Cheese and Adderall says, "Hassan singing Red Sun? CCP agent confirmed." Own Trash says, "It's so dumb because in the original clip, you can actually hear him say after he didn't answer me, he says, but then he did answer me. But Ian says something at the same time and he doesn't finish his sentence. But losers just hear what they want to hear." Over on r/H3H3 Productions, Does It Bother You 457 also posts Ethan's stories with the caption, "Shots fired. Let's go." An additional Ocelot says, "When Anissa's husband says he texts with Hassan, he probably means when he made the content flop and never again." And Jfeth says, "She probably sends him nudes like every other thirsty fan." And William Jur says, "I've been saying this. Is everyone going to ignore he likes getting nudes from fans like Pro Jared?" And Burnt Priest says, "And enjoys showing them or flashing them to people without their consent, such as Cutie, or the consent of the person whose nude it is. By total accident, of course. Basically, pest behavior. So gross. But hell, from that to shocking his dog, his fans will never believe their lying eyes. He is literally the left's Trump." Zella's Ideal Slip replies, "Why are everyone so lost under Hassan's grip? Like, can't they see he is not a trustworthy person? Can't they see he's a grifter? Or is it just cloud? I don't feel he has that much." And Tempered Toasty also posts one of the other stories in the HHH Productions subreddit with the caption, "Ethan comments on Frogan's default judgment," and Locke replies, "Two losers helping each other cope with being losers." And Captain Bananas says, "The fake smile Ian had while talking about it said everything." Single Solo says, "That whole thing was so cringe. Why would going to beg for more money after reaching a goal even be a hint of a thought that would come to your mind? What a dumb person." An Oregon writer says, "We're raising money for a good cause. Eventually, maybe. I don't know, Google it." And Foulhot replies, "Because neither of them had a real job. Their parents have always paid their way and they know they're unemployable." And Sassy Cat Lady says, "Allegedly, Frogan's mom told her to get a real job." Shout out to our tier 3 members, internet representatives Kiko, South South, Codus Bandito, Captain Crash, out of Dear Boy, Noobster, and Mr. X. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see you all in the next episode.
as a Republican.
Oh, man.
The left has truly swayed me over to the right.
That's right.
And I think they're proud of it too. Because all of this stupid controversy going on because of a comment that I made on a TikTok video. The left mob is absolutely losing its mind.
Wow.
And I used to be on the left. I used to be gung-ho LGBT.
That's right.
I was an activist.
They all were. It's all about emotional manipulation. Oh, but the poor gays. The poor gays. The poor gays. The poor trans people. They just want to be able to abuse women in women's bathrooms. And you're going to stop them from doing that? All they want to do is live and cut your child's penis off. Are you really going to stop them from living their dream? Oh, God.
LGBT people, before gays even had a legal right to marry. I was going out and I was a Glenson representative in my school district. But at this point, I don't want to be associated with the LGBT either.
Hey.
Despite even being gay. Because I can't stand y'all anymore.
Bro, the left is losing the gays.
Like, I make one comment about a grieving mother who was
losing
very
the gays.
respectful about how they were referring to their
Oh,
trans
that's kind of
child, by
funny.
the way.
Hey, buddy, how you
Them as
doing?
both Michael and Lexi. And in the comments of people that actually knew her child, were referring to her child as Michael. And she was shit on in the comments for referring to her child as her son. Because the left, the trans mob, will never accept that. They can't let a woman who is taking responsibility.
And that is why, ultimately, these are not the type of people you could beat in the marketplace of ideas. Charlie Kirk tried. He was the negotiator, and they killed him. Because they don't actually want to engage with your ideas at all. Actually, they just want to kill you. The solution is obviously raising your children in a wholesome, two-parent, God-fearing home as possible. You know, raising them with proper values and stuff. And also, by brutally humiliating the left. They need to be humiliated, publicly shamed everywhere, literally everywhere. I think it's super important, actually, to recognize, A, that they're immoral psychopaths, and that it's a psychopath position to be a leftist these days. But also, people need to know. People need to know. Unfortunately, so many people are scared into silence, you don't want to get canceled, etc. But this ultimate breaking of the Overton window is going to destroy the left completely. Because the moment the emotional floodgates open up, that's it. It's over. More and more women are realizing, hold up, I would really like to actually have a husband that takes care of me and children in my life. And following this leftist ideology, it's really making me very miserable, fat, and alone. And everything changes. Everything changes. Nothing radicalizes a woman like getting married. And essentially, we're just seeing this everywhere. We're seeing the gigantic drop-off of leftist ideology everywhere. This is RFK Jr. talking about the vaccines during COVID.
They say, what they're saying, out of 22,000 people, there was one COVID death among the vaccinated, and there was 2 COVID deaths on the unvaccinated. Double. 22,000 people. So, and that allowed them to claim it's 100% effective. Effective for what? You can't use the word effective. No, but you remember they kept saying it's 100% effective.
No, they just said it'll negate the severity.
If you go on the internet, you can see Tony Fauci.
And he's right. This is actually true. They all did say that. The narratives are all falling apart and collapsing in real time. All right? And this is what the leftist policy gets you. So this is a bodega owner. All right? He told ABC a year ago that he fears for his safety in New York because of the migrants.
Violence against
and the violence and the looting and stuff.
The workers he'd seen on social media.
People got shot, killed. Sometimes got robbed, and the police never responds quick.
Tonight, the organization is wondering if the person who shot Abdul Salah was someone who shouldn't have been on the street itself.
Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. 1 year ago, this guy goes on the news, on ABC, to say he fears for his safety because of all the violence and the lack of crackdown on stuff like that. And now he's dead. They killed him 1 year later. 1 year later, they killed this guy. He's like, I fear for my life. They don't do anything about it, and now he's dead. And it's crazy. This is Ron DeSantis talking about how, leftist policies to import infinite illegals, that's not actually good. And there's a reason why leftists keep dropping off the illegal alien communities. in right-wing states because they're trying to flip the states. That's ultimately why they're doing this mass immigration shit. It's for control. All right. So Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, came up with this epic strategy. He's gonna start shipping illegals into Democrat areas, and then watch the Democrats try to deport them. Yeah, because they're violent. Why?
The transporting immigrants to Democratic states, notably, what went on with
Martha's Vineyard. Yeah. So here's the thing. Biden opened the border. I think most people, even a lot of Democrats, agree that was a big mistake, right? Because you have 10 million people. We don't know who these people are. And I get some of the businesses want cheap labor. That's not in the best interest of the United States. So I sent people to the southern border. I was the first state to help Texas. Reality is you're limited in what you can do in that situation if the feds are not going to be supportive. So Biden was literally flying people. He was flying people into Florida. Let's just be clear. He would find people in foreign countries. They would sign up through this.
Do you want a nice, wholesome, growing Pakistani community? No. No. Florida does not want that. Please, keep them away.
And then he would fly them into the United States. And I think it was frustrating because he was putting a lot of stress on communities. It's obviously not consistent with the rule of law. I mean, I don't care if you want a lot of...
Also, they rape. Important, little caveat. They rape. They rape more. What can I say? What can I say? What can I say? I respect women so much that I don't want them to get raped by migrants.
Immigration, no immigration. We don't want people pouring in illegally. I think everyone can agree with that. So, but how do you get traction on it? And as our view is that the power centers that were more supportive of the policy were in a position they weren't having to deal with the effects of the policy. Some little town in South Texas, they're getting overrun. Some of these others are not. So you had Texas as well, sending to New York City, Chicago. Our thing with Martha's Vineyard was we knew it would be a very sharp contrast. And I didn't know how they were going to react, right? So we did it after Labor Day, so the season had ended. And so they went in, and this was all voluntary. They signed forms, whatever, saying that they wanted to go to Martha's Vineyard. And so they went. And there was 50 of them. They called out the National Guard. They got them off the island the next day. And so I think that showed a lot of people, well, wait a minute. That milieu up there, they're supportive of this. They literally, Martha's Vineyard had an office in their downtown that said, Refugee Welcome Center, nobody is illegal. They had those signs there. I don't think they ever serviced a single person, but that was what was done. So it was an ideological thing, they were doing it, but the minute they had to deal with any of the fallout from it, that did change the narrative on that. Some of the other cities too, but the Martha's Vineyard thing, and I would say if you look in the 2024 election cycle, economy, but border was very close as the number 2 issue.
Yeah, and the reality is, that's the craziest part, all right? He sends them into Democrat areas, and then they would get them deported, because it's like, no, we don't actually want these guys in our community. Nothing radicalizes a generation like the rape of a generation of children, all right? And dude, these people are just laughing stocks right now.
By the way, from level, and by the way, this whole thing they talk about the white culture and, let me tell you something about the white culture, this, and, we have a problem with this. Every one of these guys, as much as they bash the white culture in America, they only marry white people. Kamala Harris's spouse, white. Ilhan Omar's spouse, white. AOC spouse, white. Every one of these guys, you keep talking about them. They're trying to go to that.
What an absolute joke. These people are so pathetic, it's incredible. Meanwhile, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a lower court's order which barred Texas' new congressional map. And it looks like Texas is going to be, changing up the districts in order to basically copy Virginia here and get infinite representation in the government. So that's awesome, actually. That's awesome, because we need to destroy leftists because they're evil. So yeah, Brian, you can email me. I'd be more than happy to debate you. Actually, it's the left that are evil, moral psychopaths. That's crazy. We need a device that allows us to identify all of the true fascists so we can round them all up. Here you go. And this is what we're dealing with, man. This is what we're dealing with. I haven't decided decency and basic human rights. Just be thankful that you're, the person trying to assassinate you and harass your widow and orphans is going to tell you his pronouns. And ultimately, this is going to get everyone to leave the left because they're fucking evil people, inherently. And people know that, inherently. Unless we get some sort of communist revolution, which hopefully we don't, obviously, but that's what they're working on right now. And they need to be destroyed. Absolutely, yes. They are immoral, evil people to the core, and it's all of them. Unless they're retarded. They might not know that they're following and supporting evil people. They might have just been manipulated. Which is why I am probably one of the most graceful people out there. I give so much charity to people. Hey, upside, you might just be a blatant retard and not satanic and evil. If that doesn't prove I'm a nice, generous guy, I don't know what possibly could.
So, a channel named Crimes New Roman, which is ran by a guy named Noah, made a video criticizing commentary channels with a heavy focus on Turkey Tom. And, I noticed I wasn't part of this discussion. Noah had lots to say about these slop tubers, but I wasn't really included, which is fine. I didn't want to sit at their lunch table anyways. So why have I decided to interject myself into the conversation? Well, while Noah deconstructs much of the commentary community's flaws, he also portrays one of the community's favorite punching bags as an innocent victim who did nothing wrong, that individual being iDubbbz. Wow, I haven't made an iDubbbz video since February. That might be a new record. I'll admit, some of Noah's talking points against the commentary community are pretty valid, and I'm sure each one of them will make a response video milking this libtard's titties until he's malnourished and saggy. However, I think this video kind of implodes on itself because much of Noah's complaints revolve around omitting information, ignoring context, and allowing one's bias to determine how you present information. And a lot of these critiques come off as disingenuous when you see how Noah represents people like Hassan Piker and iDubbbz in his video. The greatest example being Noah reviewing a mass shooter's manifesto, and that includes the names of certain content creators, where he insinuates that Turkey Tom's content is somewhat responsible for the shooting because his content served as a stepping stone for radicalization. Noah insists that Tom deserves all the focus because he's mentioned twice where the shooter claims in his manifesto that Tom pushed him into the alt-right, and because Tom is the focus, Noah repeatedly brings up the fact that Tom's name is in a manifesto written by a masked shooter.
Just like all the pseudo-intellectuals and gamer chuds whose content, through the conventions of their genre, participate in an ecosystem that functions as important infrastructure in the pipeline to radicalization. And Tom's name in that manifesto is the smoking gun I knew would show up eventually. Tom is the through line of my analysis because he is the creator of the Antioch shooter specifically named. I'm telling you, man, there's a reason Tom's name was emphasized in that manifesto. A particularly astute and acute of you out there should realize I am highlighting this because Think Before You Sleep tries to make the link between Long and TYT structurally identical to the connection I'm making here with the Antioch shooter and Turkey Tom, a mass shooter who consumed the creator's content, except the evidence he brings is just like my sanity after talking about this for so many hours. Basically non-existent. With all of this, I'm hoping now that the Antioch shooter's journey viewed through this odyssey of a framework I have laid out makes more sense, not as some sudden conversion to the horrible brain space he ended up in, but as a gradual acclimation built from a foundation that we see in his list of influences. That shooter's network not only included just the super extreme Terrorgram and 764, but content like Turkey Tom's.
However, when looking at the other names included in the manifesto, Noah attempts to frame the inclusion of iDubbbz and Hassan Piker within the shooter's manifesto as individuals that were simply talked about in these alt-right spaces. They're not part of the problem, unlike Tom, even though the title straight up says, people that radicalized me the most. But I guess it's entirely different for Tom because he's mentioned twice, and that's why Noah decided to run with the narrative that Tom is part of the problem, and these two are just innocent bystanders.
This is why I think the list of influencers on the Antioch shooters list makes sense together. Hassan, iDubbbz, Destiny, Tom, these are frequently very core to the narratives that exist in this space. They are mentioned either as direct people involved in these scenarios, or they are side characters periodically brought up constantly, okay? This collection is not a random collection.
Yes, how could someone like Hassan Piker possibly radicalize anyone?
Well, my understanding of it is that the property owners who have properties there choose just not to rent it at all.
Yeah, keep those motherfuckers in a video game. Sorry. Holy shit. Look at those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude. Oh my god, in a video game, of course.
I'm aware this clip is old, but it would seem Noah doesn't really have an issue bringing up old videos made several years ago to criticize a content creator, like showing a now deleted video from Turkey Tom back in 2019. So if that's not an issue for Noah, then that begs the question, why didn't people like Hassan receive as much coverage for their contribution to this supposed radicalization? After all, his name is also in the manifesto. Well, let's find out.
During the period where iDubbbz was making documentaries on different internet personalities, they were pretty good. I liked them. To give some context on who Sam Hyde is, he's a longtime internet figure, and eventually...
Okay, I'm sorry for pausing the video so early, but I like a big toe kiss as much as the next guy, but it's kind of distracting listening to this guy explain his talking points while he has his dogs out. Yeah, for some reason, Noah's epic takedown of the commentary community is also mixed with an episode of iCarly, showing off the little Piggly Wigglies, along with projecting DeviantArt posters of bare feet. Hell, this guy even has a separate video where he blasts Doom music while just showing pictures of feet for an entire hour. This doesn't really have anything to do with Noah's arguments. I just thought it'd be interesting to bring up because it's really fucking gross. So Noah starts the iDubbbz segment by criticizing people like Turkey Tom, who claimed that Ian's documentary on Sam Hyde was a hit piece and meant to portray Sam in a negative light. Honestly, this part of the video doesn't really have much substance, considering it is reasonable to claim Ian wanted to make Sam Hyde look bad, and jumping on someone for thinking that is just kind of whatever. In the next iDubbbz segment, Noah insinuates that the majority of the hate Ian and Anissa receive is due to misogyny and the old argument of Ian refusing to scream the N-word anymore.
Fall is, of course, everything that came after. His progressive political shift, his public vulnerability, his relationship with his longtime partner Anissa, which I cannot underemphasize how much these guys hate her. By the way, like if you search her name on YouTube, every video is some weird hit piece oozing with misogyny. Like some channels will have absurd amounts of video on these guys. It's just really pathetic. iDubbbz himself has importantly disavowed, apologized for, and distanced himself from his slur-slinging audience. If you want to know why all of these guys are so obsessed with / hate him so much, it's because They're his slur-slinging audience.
That's totally why everyone hates him now. This, of course, displays to many that any sort of good faith research from Noah for why the Jamhas receive backlash is completely off the table. Next, Noah criticizes commentary channels who mocked iDubbbz's apology for his past content. Noah argues that it's stupid for other people to insert themselves in Ian's own self-reflection, which, at the time, that might have seemed like a fair point, but then you witness how Mr. Empathy turned out and realized that his apology really was just a load of shit. But by far the most bad faith segment of Noah's video is of him agreeing and arguing that Moist Critical is responsible for creating a space for the alt-right, simply echoing a talking point from iDubbbz.
When iDubbbz was on a stream a little while ago and pointed out that Moist Critical, hey, look who showed up again, might function as part of the alt-right pipeline.
Like, it's part of the pipeline, though. It's the same reason people wouldn't say Charlie, Moist Critical, is right-wing or like as ideologically fucked out there as like a Nick Fuentes or even Asmund. Right?
Oh my god.
These guys kind of collectively lost their minds about it.
He's been extremely critical of ICE multiple times. He's against it.
He's made videos shitting on Elon Musk, shitting on ICE, shitting on right-wing people in general. You know, that's not something that a right-wing sycophant grifter would do.
He literally goes after ICE, and he talked about the whole situation in Minneapolis.
You can see what's going on here. They have a very simple, uncomplicated view of what they think not only radicalization is, but what political alignment means in general.
Now, when Ian originally made this statement, he didn't really provide context or evidence that Critical was enabling the alt-right or creating a space for them. But don't worry, because Noah has solid proof of this being the case. What's the proof? Well, the reason why Noah believes iDubbbz is correct here is because Critical made a video condemning political violence, referencing Charlie Kirk's assassination, but he failed to inform his viewers on Charlie Kirk's actual policies. A video that came out 7 months ago.
Moist Critical's video on the Charlie Kirk assassination is a perfect little microcosm on how this both sides alibi operates through omission, and I think validates iDubbbz's assertion. But when you do not make room for the contextual explanations around people like Kirk, Fuentes, Hyde, Walsh, you hold space for the worst people to congregate in your audience and turn it into fertile ground for radicalization.
I guess what could serve as evidence on whether Moist Critical is enabling an alt-right audience is to look at how the viewers respond to this video. So what does the comment section look like under Critical's Charlie Kirk video? Well, most of the conversations center around political violence being bad and criticism directed at news stations for copywriting footage. Nowhere will you see a response indicating that Critical's video opened opportunities for alt-right radicals to plant seeds, such as,
yeah, this is exactly what the left wants. Kirk died so we could thrive.
Or something along those lines. I get that Noah's argument is that the alt-right pipeline isn't explicit and includes multiple steps. However, there is just simply nothing here. You can say, I believe this to be the case, all you want, but you and Ian have absolutely nothing to prove that Charlie is some secret vessel for the alt-right.
This goes back to my point about people not understanding how the pipeline does not require every node in the network to be linear and ideologically consistent.
This is Noah's attempt to brush off every video that pretty much debunks the narrative that Critical is opening a space for alt-right support and ideologies. Like, apparently Critical's videos on ICE or Trump or whatever, Noah is saying those videos don't matter at all because planting seeds for an alt-right invasion doesn't require consistent ideologies, which is nothing but dipshit logic. Yes, all of these videos mean nothing, but this one video from 7 months ago that doesn't prove shit.
Oh my gosh, guys, I think Critical embraces the alt-right.
Believe it or not, but making videos that criticize popular alt-right figures and positions multiple times will indeed impact how your audience responds to the alt-right space, even more so than failing to include an assassinated political commentator's positions when discussing political violence one time, which again means nothing. As I said, Noah fails to provide any sort of positions or comments from Critical Critical to prove he's a vessel for the alt-right, just like when Ian initially made that argument.
It requires that the genre's conventions, that edginess be rewarded, that empathy be withheld, that targets are selected, and that the audience is cultivated, creates conditions in which right-wing and conspiratorial frameworks feel like the natural next step because they aren't explicitly tweeted out.
Amazing. And by your own defined criteria of what invites in radical viewers, Critical's video doesn't embrace
I
any
got
of
a
these
hangover,
attributes.
so just
The overlap
keep it down.
is real. It's how the same people can watch Moist Critical make this video on Charlie Kirk, but also hang out in Asmongold's stream chat
Unless you're
while
paying,
engaging in
you're
bigotry
leaving.
towards inclusivity at the Game Awards. Is what I would say if I wasn't fucking lying to you, because this stream chat is actually Moist Critical, not Asmongold's. I'm fucking right about this. iDubbbz is right about this. The fact that you could think that this could be Asmongold's chat when it's actually Moist Critical's?
No refunds. Deal?
Whoa, dude, you
Done.
totally owned
Now,
us. Look,
beat
guys, Critical's
fucker.
live chat includes people saying, whoa, the alt-right is taking over. This is your magnum opus of proof that Critical's audience overlaps with the alt-right. It's like, I can just tell your ego was orgasming when he did the little switcheroo tactic.
See, guys, I told you Asmongold and Critical are basically the same.
Well, why don't we compare how Asmongold's audience and Critical's audience responded to the shooting of Renee Good? As we can see, under Asmongold's video,
I don't
the
like
top
you.
comments
Can't
are
say
justifying
I'm not
Good being
surprised.
shot by the ICE agent.
Good
Is
luck
what I
to you.
would say if I wasn't fucking lying. See, guys, this top comment section isn't from an Asmongold video, but... No, wait, that's exactly what this is. Well, I'm sure when Critical gave his take on the situation, his audience responded in the exact same way. I mean, just look at how all the commenters spout completely different positions.
Can you speak on Renee Good? You mean like in a video or in general? Because that shit is horrible. I still can't believe that anyone thinks that that was defensible action from ICE. Of course, Charlie is a lid. It is incredible how someone can watch a video and depending on like their political brain, they'll see two different things. An ICE agent putting himself in front of a vehicle, and when the vehicle starts moving, putting himself in front of the vehicle, like the least smart thing ever. That is like the anti-protocol. And when the vehicle moves and it turns to the right, it just immediately starts blasting, and it's like, yep, justified. I don't know how anyone watches that and think that that's fine in a sane society.
Wow, it's as if using a screenshot from a live chat is not concrete evidence of the emergence of an alt-right pipeline. What a shocker. And you came to this conclusion because Critical's live chat has people saying the word woke in it. Oh my god, guys, this was what iDubbbz was trying to warn us about. This is the best evidence you could come up with that Critical has invited in the alt-right. And by this logic, am I allowed to claim that Hassan opened his platform for anti-Semitism because his live chat spammed heart emojis while he read the manifesto of the guy who killed 2 Israeli ambassadors? There is absolutely nothing else suggesting Critical is a vessel for the alt-right, and there is way more evidence to actually suggest the opposite. The quote-unquote exceptions are much more substantial in regard to Critical's actual beliefs. If these are the examples you have chosen for your video, then it's clear as day you didn't have much substance to target Critical to begin with. I mean, let's be real. Ian probably associated Critical with the alt-right for attention. Do I have evidence for that? No, but I do have a lot of faith in this theory, considering this same dipshit tried to label Meat Canyon alt-right as well, all because Meat Canyon gives off certain vibes.
Meat Canyon's one of these guys who's like, he's on the precipice, right? Where he kind of like, for the most part, he stays in his own lane. He's an apolitical type, but you get vibes. You get vibes. I wouldn't say he's sus. Not at all. But it's like the Charlie argument, right? Where it's like, yeah, I don't think he's like toxic or anything, but I think it enables like a lot of like shitty people.
Ian is just talking out of his fucking ass, and you're the idiot for thinking there's some validity behind his statements. Now, obviously, the apolitical Charlie Kirk video and woke live chat screenshot has probably already convinced you that Critical is harboring bigots and racist chuds within his fan base. Well, what if I told you that there is actually a third piece of evidence that wasn't included in this 2-hour-plus video, and Noah actually plans to make an entire video dedicated dedicated to covering this newfound knowledge after a fan alerted him of a possible Third Reich invasion. Thank you. I saw that. I'm gonna make a quick breakdown of how fucking stupid that video is on my side channel in the next day or so. Wow, Critical must have done something extremely heinous and inexcusable for Noah to react this way. I wonder what this new information is about. I've seen some of the comments talking about how Charlie is fine and not capitulating to the right-wing audience, as if he didn't just post a random Gamergate-style video talking about a random game review that he dislikes just a couple days ago. You guys can't see it, but I'm currently rubbing my eyes right now. What video are these two fucknuts even referring to? It might be the worst review I've ever seen. A video where Charlie criticizes an IGN reviewer for giving Mouse PI for Hire a 6. And this is somehow tied to the alt-right. I am actually at a loss for words. How did we even get to this point? This video is just Charlie dunking on IGN for what he believes to be a piss-poor review of a game. But you see, guys, criticizing IGN for having a dog shit take resembles Gamergate, and Gamergate is automatically alt-right. So if you've ever criticized IGN, well, guess what, bigot? You just participated in white supremacy. Anyways, someone with a profile pic with the world's strongest swordsman, in both name and reality, actually called out Noah on his bullshit, but Noah's response is discussion from two brain cells. One, the obsessive anti-game reviewer / anti-IGN trend that exists today can be directly linked to Gamergate. Obsessive? It was one fucking video criticizing an IGN review, and your dumbass associates this with the alt-right? Are people not allowed to criticize IGN reviews without someone like you going like, this looks like a pipeline? What is wrong with you? What kind of person thinks this way? Get those fucking feet out of my face! In the next iDub segment, Noah brings up the third cognitive phase of the alt-right pipeline, which is dehumanization. Many commentary channels fall under this category because they view another person's suffering with detachment. And what example does Noah use to prove this being the case?
The transformation of human beings into content. Now, obviously, this isn't something that is exclusive to this genre, but when put in conjunction with everything else I am painstakingly laying out, it becomes a little bit of an issue. One's third phase, dehumanization, the cognitive shift that makes violence against outgroups conceivable, is typically discussed in terms of explicit ideology. Rhetoric that compares groups to vermin, diseases, or subhuman categories. Nazi shit, or gamer girl shit. Shameless plug. But dehumanization does not require explicit rhetoric. It just requires the ability to view another person's suffering with detachment rather than empathy, which they like to so frequently mock.
Even though I don't have empathy like iDubbbz,
It's interesting that all of his descriptions of his feeling empathy sound more like guilt.
Empathy at the age of 32.
The capacity for this is not innate. It is something that must be trained, and the drama genre trains it so relentlessly through the process that Munn described.
Hey buddy, the joke isn't,
Haha, iDubbbz has empathy for people.
It's a reference to Ian admitting that he only understood the concept of empathy until way late into his adult years.
I think only in these past couple of years have I gained the ability empathy.
Whoa.
And I'm very ashamed to admit that. It sounds really pathetic to say at the age
It
of
is fucking pathetic.
The idea of a grown man not even thinking about how other people feel until he reaches his 30s is incredibly absurd, and that is why it continues to be a running gag. Also, many people, including myself, do not believe Ian's empathy is genuine.
Well, who are you to say that?
Someone who notices that his actions contradict his discovery of empathy. Some examples to support this include laughing about someone getting sent skulls to their house, choosing YouTube drama over your own charity event, screwing over everyone involved, along with those who could have received donations. My favorite empath moment has to be of Ian pushing a false allegation of a father molesting his own children as a joke. It's ironic because Ian is portrayed as a victim in this video, where characteristics Noah labels the commentary community with could very well also be attached to Ian. And this goes back to my main point that Noah's favorable bias of creators on Ian is one of the main reasons why his video almost falls completely flat. In conclusion, I think Noah hurts his own credibility with how he presents information and certain creators within this 2-hour-long video. And there is legitimate criticism for the commentary community, but it's hard to not be distracted by Noah's obvious bias and omission of context.
This is a MAGA Republican's idea of what Los Angeles looks like. This is really not.
Spencer Pratt is a man on a mission, as after Mayor Bass allowed his house to be burned down, this isn't so much a campaign for mayor as it's a revenge tour. As at LA's debate for mayor, Spencer went right into Bass's failures during the Orson fires that burned down the city.
So the Mayor Karen Bass's 1,000 firefighters that were available, but there was no engines for them because of the $17 million that Chief Crowley had asked the mayor for 9 weeks before, and Mayor Karen Bass denied it. She drained both of these reservoirs that these firefighters needed. The winds in the Pacific Palisades never reached higher than 40 miles per hour. For those first 6 hours, they didn't go above 27 miles per hour. He's saying several things that are completely inaccurate. First of all, there was one reservoir that was out of commission. So the winds reached close to 100 miles an hour, and the planes were unable to fly. So if there were reservoirs, if that reservoir had been open, it would not have worked. She's an incredible liar. Everyone on their phones, Google it. 40 weather stations in the Pacific Palisades. It never went above 40 miles per hour. She is referencing the Altadena fire.
I have to interrupt you.
Now, of course, the moderators will step in to assist the establishment candidate, but it just highlights how desperate they are to dispel the truth, as we covered their lies in depth back in 2025, when Mayor Trash came back from Ghana and basically refused to answer any questions. Even Fox News tried to cover for her.
You gotta have water, and my understanding is the reservoir was not refilled in time and in a timely manner to keep the hydrants going.
Despite what you have heard, I'm gonna make you an offer. You get moving, jackass. Just don't pay by the hour.
And let's go out to Gigi Graciette. She is live in Pacific Palisades.
Well, firefighters have told me they have no water on this
Try
property.
anything
No matter
smart,
how much you
and
hate
you'll
the
get a
mainstream
new
media, you don't hate them enough. And even when CNN admitted it, they framed it as the homeowner's fault.
And those water tanks ran dry. Part of the problem is a lot of people are using hoses, trying to understandably hose down their lawns, hoping that will stop the fire. A lot of firefighters will say that's not going to stop a fire like this from burning down your house.
So just over a year later, Mayor Basura is going to pretend this didn't happen. But for the people like Spencer Pratt, who actually had their homes burned down, it's not something he'd simply forget and believe Basura's revisionist history. But now, Bass's asinine campaign is saying
even if it is to a
she's
scumbag
the real
like
victim.
you.
It was one of the worst moments of my life to not be here when my city needed me. And it didn't matter where I was or why I was away. To me, it reminds me of like if you're away and a family member is in an accident.
Get this over
but
with.
I think that I deserve a second term, and I'm going to fight for that because we have made significant progress in a variety of areas. For example, homelessness was going up year after year, and under my watch, it is the first time we've had a decrease in street homelessness.
And let's be clear, this is also something we've covered on this channel, as LA only decreased homelessness because one, they changed the parameters of who qualified as homeless, meaning living in your car didn't count anymore, and then they both reduced the amount of employees counting and the hours they were allowed to count.
Do you feel like, based on what you're seeing, that we have an accurate count or idea of how many homeless live within the county of Los Angeles?
No, the only numbers that got counted were the night counts, which the night counts were pretty much zeros.
Do you think overall Los is trying to keep the numbers lower?
And I think it's going to impact the mayor because she's telling people that homelessness is down. But based on what I see on the streets, it's not down.
And as bad as this jukes the stats in itself, the real reason they could say they're ending homelessness is in LA, over 6 of them die every single day, as Mayor Basura's rampant drug problem has somehow been rebranded as a win for homelessness. but at least Spencer actually knows what's ailing Los Angeles.
They are on super meth. They are on fentanyl. The DEA statistic says 93% of this is a drug addiction problem. Councilwoman Robin's plan for treatment first, I will go below the Harbor Freeway tomorrow with her, and we can find some of these people she's going to offer treatment for. She's going to get stabbed in the neck. These people do not want a bed. They want fentanyl or super meth. These ideas cost us over $400 million to house 70, what is it, 3,000 people for $400 million is an absolute failure for both of them.
As the homeless industrial complex is real, why would the Democrats solve any of this mass suffering in their city when they can just endlessly collect blank checks to fight it? Well, the only thing worse than a corrupt mayor is someone that wants to be a corrupt mayor.
Do you support
Hang on, cats are fighting. I gotta go
in front of schools or daycare centers? Mayor Bass,
find out what the hell's going on.
Yes.
I'll be right
Ms.
back.
Rahman, yes or no?
I support keeping our streets safe. I did vote against the structure of this particular ordinance, and it is because, at its best,
it's a yes or no.
It does not. The way this ordinance was structured,
it's no.
It
yes
does,
or no.
it does
Yes
not
or
keep.
no.
It
We'll
does
take
not
that
keep
as a
our
no.
children.
It's hilarious to see a simple question become such a nonsensical word salad. But the sad fact is, she can't simply say no. As Spencer shows, homelessness is her cash cow.
You know how Nithya, Manchurian candidate, laundered taxpayer money into her own homeless nonprofit? Well, both she and Karen Basura would love for you to forget the Shelby fraud, when developer Stephen Taylor bought a property for $11 million, and then just a few weeks later, he was able to flip it to an LA homeless nonprofit for $27.3 million. Karen Basura apparently even called the developer personally begging for the property. And despite the developer being arrested and an ongoing federal investigation, Manchurian and the LA City Council still support the project.
It's like these shady politicians don't see their citizens' problems as issues to fix, but opportunities to make themselves rich. As the primary, if not only reason I moved out of Los Angeles 2 years ago was the continuous rampant rise in crime. While Spencer wants to spend money to solve it.
What is your strategy for getting more people, recruiting more officers and paying for them?
First off, I'm going to bring hiring back to the LAPD. Right now, the LAPD is hired by the same people that hire sanitation, and we need to bring it back like it was 20 plus years ago. This idea that Councilwoman Rahman keeps saying that the police department is overfunded, public safety should be our #1 priority.
Rahman wants to sell you some silly socialist fantasy.
The safety of people in Los Angeles is absolutely essential. But that's why I think we have to start getting honest with people about how we're actually going to respond. So many calls that are coming into LAPD do not require armed officer response.
The whole defund the police and replace them with social workers has never worked, especially in the same city that already tried it. They replaced the actual police with these unarmed Metro ambassadors who just sit there and watch as you get assaulted.
Metro ambassador? That is the gayest thing I ever heard.
Watching us get
I am a
tossed
Metro
around
ambassador.
by the criminals they refuse to do anything about. But keep in mind, Rahman is a city council member who just unanimously voted to stop LAPD from making traffic stops based on what they consider minor violations. Meanwhile, using high-tech, expensive cameras to automatically ticket law-abiding drivers. It's this common theme they constantly repeat. Refuse to enforce any laws on the EBT tribes, meanwhile finding dystopian measures on how to fine and tax anybody dumb enough to still follow the rules. But when someone comes in to actually enforce the law and protect the citizens, Mayor Basura wants to take credit.
Who ordered this operation with the feds? Is it a sign that our communities are not safe?
No, actually, that operation was ordered by the feds. However, we have been working in collaboration because we were very well aware of the drug dealing that was taking place there. We have used a comprehensive approach when it comes to MacArthur Park. Multiple things are needed. And so what happened a couple of hours ago was an action that had been in the works for many, many years.
Yes, the feds had to step in.
Somebody's
going
gonna
to
fall out of there.
But we were aware of this, allowing it to take place for many years. So let's go ahead and call it a joint operation. But remember, Last time the feds came into MacArthur Park specifically, she ran down there to make her social media moment against the feds stepping in.
Yes, my comment is they need to leave, and they need to leave right now.
So when this federal raid targeted that same park, stopping enough and
Look at it. I hit that guy so hard his legs fused together.
People, of course, some of the arrests were on individuals already wearing ankle monitors. You really wonder who let these people free to offend again, but it's probably the same people that allowed them to operate in broad daylight with protection against federal law enforcement in this sanctuary city, endangering all of us with their narcotics, also the Democrats can secure their new voter base.
Non-citizens, should they be allowed to vote in local elections? Is this a yes or no, Mr. Pratt?
No.
Mayor Bass?
It depends. It's not a yes or no.
Depends on what?
Well, first of all, when you say non-citizens, it doesn't mean they're illegal.
It does depend. In other places,
Yeah, but it does mean they're non-citizens.
non-citizens,
Yes or no?
non-citizens who vote
Mr. Pratt, I have a question for
who are
you.
residents.
Again, it's a 5-on-1 debate, as they've evaded admitting that illegals voting has always been their plan, but their mask has slowly been slipping the more they use more tax dollars to protect their new voter base.
A bold message posted across Los Angeles, signs going up declaring city property off limits for ICE.
The signs have no legal weight, force, or effect on anything the federal government does.
More than 250 of these signs now posted at parking lots, libraries, the LA Zoo,
Getting ready to leave?
and notably MacArthur Park. One sign and installation could run about $500, bringing the total to around $250,000.
These signs are completely unenforceable and nothing but an empty gesture to show how they're fighting Trump. The problem being, the city's currently in a $1 billion budget deficit. Mayor Basara wouldn't dare cut into her virtue signaling sign budget, but good luck to the schools, police, or even providing water for firefighters. So hopefully Los Angeles residents will save themselves and vote for Spencer Pratt, as he's the only one who can fix the city.
I didn't come here looking for apologies. They apologized to admit their failures. And I'm up here because of their failures. That's the only reason I'm running, because I said enough of these failures. We need an outsider. No more politicians, no more lying. We need the truth.
And even though I don't live there anymore, I'm still telling absolutely everybody I know that does vote for Spencer Pratt, and tell 2 more people they need to as well. And judging by the local NBC affiliate's survey, he's absolutely crushing both Democrats. So share this video with anybody that doesn't necessarily have the time to watch a full hour-long debate, or just doesn't trust the mainstream media to not mislead them. And if you appreciate my concise, light-hearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, hopefully I've earned your subscription, and you'll subscribe to Decoy.
Gaming cred, uh-oh, here we go.
We are living through an unprecedented era in gaming right now. For the first time in the history of the world, the average gamer cred score has dropped below 0.25. If that number doesn't terrify you, I don't know what will. In today's society, we are surrounded on all sides by pretend gamers, people who pretend to be real gamers.
It's not on.
But in reality have never played Super Mario Galaxy. You see, back in the Xbox Live Go...
You know who really got me fucked up about this was Tectone. Because Tectone was going on about how much he likes Stellar Blade, and he said he played Stellar Blade, and I said, did you actually play Stellar Blade? He said, no, I played the demo for 10 minutes. Bro, these fake gamers makes me so fucking mad, man. Like, it's fake gamers, bro. It's like, no, you didn't play it. Like, if you didn't beat half of the game, you didn't play the game. You can't play 10% of the game and say you beat the game. That's stolen valor. It is.
golden era of gaming, everybody's gamer score was visible to the public. You could just click on somebody's profile and see, okay, you beat Mile High Club on Veteran. This is an actual gamer. But today, they keep it all hidden because of course they do.
That's actually a good point, is that they should probably do that. You know how like you have like a credit score? We could make a website of like a gamer score. That's maybe China can do that, right? Because they have that whole social credit score, so they can make a video game credit score. That's a good idea.
Game is FIFA. My favorite video game would have to be NBA 2K. Been playing that for many years.
Wrong.
My favorite video game is Madden.
No, it isn't.
Call of Duty.
Deleted.
Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas.
Actual gamer in the building. Yesterday I was watching.
Honestly, I feel like there are a lot of there are the sports ball gamers where like their idea of video gaming is FIFA, 2K, maybe some Call of Duty, right? If they really want to throw down. Other than that, they don't give a fuck. That's it. And there's so many of them.
Twitch who it is, but you know, he's going on this huge rant about video games. You could just tell from the look in his eye that he's never played Warcraft 3 in his entire life. He's just waiting this never played game energy the whole night. Hell from the chair he was sitting in, he's never touched a single Hitman game. Then
See, this is the thing people get mad at me for too. In this boat. Like, I spent so much time only playing World of Warcraft that, like, I thought Avowed was good. Think about that. Like, really, like, and so, like, that was bad, right? And I felt like, you know, it's like that, but, you know, people were saying that Plato allegory of the cave. I was in the dark for so long. And now it's just, it's a lot, man. You play less games than you are. I don't know about that, but I mean, like, maybe. Like, it's bad. Like, Joe Rogan, yeah, it's like, I haven't played any other games. And now I'm trying to play more new games.
You know what game I was talking about? Valorant. And that's when you know this is a 0.03 gamer cred level game.
I don't know, bro. There's a lot of e-girls that play Valorant. I don't even know why.
We have got to boost our numbers, and the first part of this process is learning just how many games are better than Valorant. Max Payne, Max Payne 2, Max Payne 3, Bubsy, Blind.
Did you play Assassin's Creed? Yeah, sure.
I used to play Red Dead Redemption. That shit was fucking hard.
But that's like the easiest game ever made. We have to...
I don't know if it is or not. I have no idea.
Expand our knowledge of gaming history, or
see, there's the whole thing of fake gamer girls. See, like, we threw the baby out with the bathwater. There are some fake gamer girls out there. There are. There's not a lot of them, but they are out there.
Attendance will erase our illustrious
You think all
legacy.
of them?
Did you know that before the PS5, Sony made games for a different console called the PlayStation 4? Now think on that.
Whoa!
I like EA Sports. I'm in the game. I don't have a game, cuz.
Snoop, you got more games than Master Chief. You were in True Crime, Def Jam, Way of the Dog, Call of Duty, Fortnite. One of the stages in Tekken is just straight up called Snoop Dogg, and it's you sitting there on a big throne.
I don't have a game.
He actually does have more games than Master Chief. How's that even possible?
Here is Naked Snake and Solid Snake. Can you tell me the difference? You have 1 second. Sorry, you took too long. 500 cred has been deducted from your account. You have to understand that we are living in a world with gamers that don't even know about Oddworld Munch's Odyssey.
I'm a big gamer.
You didn't tell me what dimension King Mickey has been sealed in for the past 27 years exactly.
To be fair, he did play Space Marine 2 also. And that's fine. But he also, the thing is with Henry Cavill is that he also only played WoW. As far as I know. Like, he was addicted to WoW also. So it's like, yeah, you're a gamer, you play the same game. That's the thing.
You know, Donkey Kong specifically, like that character. I don't think he speaks. Okay.
When I was a kid, the coolest game was Cool Borders 2 because you could play as a little alien. Today, kids have godlike access to hundreds of incredible aliens.
Some of these games.
Today,
I think I had Kirby's Adventure. I don't remember that one. I had Adventure a Link.
I hated that game. I just want to look through these. Donkey Kong, obviously. Where's the other ones? Ninja Gaiden. Oh, is that... No, that's not it. Holy fuck. Metroid.
Today, kids have godlike access to
I don't remember which one Ninja Gaiden is. I always get confused between that one and Shuriken.
That's true, actually. It would be a really good idea for all the video games to collectively decide to shut down every server for every live service game for 1 year. And in that time period, people could go and play other single-player games and older games. And, like, no Fortnite, no World of Warcraft, no Valorant, no League. And you have to play, at this point, now you have to play a new game. That'd be peak? Yeah, that would be the year of the awakening.
Apparently, you guys really like cats. I'm Anna, and I head up the Valorant studio.
When you are interviewing for a job, they don't care how many Valorant skins you have. What they're gonna do is ask you, what's the better bowling game, Flintstones or Animaniacs? The correct answer, Tekken Tag Tournament.
Oh.
Let's
Nice.
say you really grind it out and hit the top rank on Valorant. That's gonna net you about 42.7 gamer cred.
See, remember what I was saying before about how, like, playing online games feels like building a castle on sand? That's the way I feel, bro. Like, I can't motivate myself to play online games like regularly.
Me wrong. Now take your
However,
reward
just by
and get the
completing
hell
first
out of here.
edition of Marble Blast Ultra, you would have got 403 points.
Jeffrey Darevensky is a McGill University professor who studies video games.
If you want a job from well, don't just
When I was a
stand there
teenager,
and
all I
come
played
up
was
your
I
ass.
definitely gotta
Go
empty
do
out
the
this
goddamn
time.
job.
From starting to Counter-Strike to
Yep.
Rainbow Six, Halo, Gears, Battlefield.
Yep.
But looking back as an adult, I realized that I was actually generating more cred when I was 10 than when I was 16.
You're right. That's the same fucking thing, man. Because I went from Halo to WoW, and that took me out of the video game ecosystem from like 2003 to 2018. Because that's whenever I played Dark Souls. So I went 15 years in the cave.
When I was 10, I was playing stuff like Tron Bond, Crash Bandicoot, Rogue Squadron, Shenmue, Power Stone, Gran Turismo, Diddy Kong Racing. I was unwittingly branching out into all these different genres of video games, and sometimes I would get lucky and play something made with genuine artistic vision like Yoshi's Island.
This is probably my favorite game growing up. Like, I don't know if I ever said this, but like, this actually, like, I love this game so much.
What is a movie from your career that would make the best video game?
It's definitely got to be Nacho.
They already did that.
I'm Bowser, baby.
There are sections of this game where you are
what the fuck?
generating over 1,000 CPM. We're talking cred per minute. DK Country.
Now, believe it or not, the Donald keeps winning somehow. The Justice Department is launching a criminal investigation into E. Jean Carroll, who accused Donald Trump of sexual assault, CNN reports. Now, if you remember, she actually won a civil sexual assault lawsuit against Donald Trump. Now, for those of you that are unaware of the difference between civil versus criminal lawsuits means without a shadow of a doubt, he sexually assaulted her. And civil lawsuits means there is possible potential reason to believe that he might have sexually assaulted her. So he lost a civil lawsuit, which, in my opinion, doesn't actually prove anything at all. And by my opinion, I mean the opinion of the entire fucking world, because Donald Trump didn't go to jail for this, obviously. That's one. And two, I think the whole thing was hyper-politicized. I've been saying that I think this entire trial was a sham for years. Literally after it went on. Here you got this lady, after 40 years, she decides to show up when Donald Trump is becoming the president of the United States, now claim that she was raped. Now we have to believe her? Believe a woman? Unbelievable. What have we come to as a society? We're believing women now? This is crazy. Transgender person comes out of the sewer to say believe all women. I don't even believe that you're a woman. Why are we doing this? Anyway, of course, you got people freaking out. I could not think of a more perfectly distilled example of why so many survivors of sexually assault don't come forward. I actually completely agree. Survivors of sexual assault don't come forward because you have people like E. Jean Carroll, who, in my opinion, lie. That's right. It's because of the liars. If every single person who actually claimed that they were raped was telling the truth, then everyone that was raped would say it, and they would be believed because everyone didn't lie. But believe it or not, just like males, females are also human with the capability of lying. Especially if you're going up against a hyper-politicized opponent who's a billionaire. I'm just saying, that makes it more likely that you're probably a lying bitch. And there are a lot more reasons for that we didn't even get to yet. But in my opinion, this is actually completely awesome. Right? Justice Department launched a criminal investigation into E. Jean Carroll, who accused Trump of sexual assault, according to sources. Justice Department launches a criminal investigation into Trump accuser E. Jean Carroll. This is awesome, actually. But is Trump just going after people he doesn't like? Yeah. Right? No, so fuck yeah, dude. That's sick. If she actually committed a crime, she should do the time. I don't care who the fuck she is. In fact, I actually want everyone who committed the crimes to do the times. Listen, I'm a big Law and Order guy. And I have a very simple ideology when it comes to Law and Order. If someone falsely accuses someone of sexual assault, I think they should be tied to a post in public and given lashes in the middle of the street in the town square. Publicly live streamed for the nation's entertainment. Now, I'm not saying I want that to happen to her, because I don't know if she's innocent or if she's guilty. I don't know anything, all right? But if we actually have evidence that she lied about it, I think public lashes would be pretty awesome. I see some people saying death penalty. I'm not a barbarian. I only want her live streamed on twitch.tv/commandment number 9, getting absolutely punished for whatever crime she actually might have committed, allegedly. Now, anyway, oh shit, she lied? No! You mean to tell me that it was a gigantic Democrat strategy in order to basically ruin Trump's life because they were so terrified he would get elected? Well, you are about to go down a rabbit hole that I don't think you are even beginning to expect.
Dude, I don't even see
herself claimed she was a massive Trump
fucking
fan
nitrate
15 years ago, appears deranged and sick. She lives with rodents, named her cat a vagina, and her dog Tits. She writes stories about her dog, taught her about sex, claimed on live TV that rape was sexy, and paints trees blue. All right, just understand.
I call it the Mouse House because some very distinguished mice live here. Kahneman lives in the...
We are trusting this woman's word to ruin the life of a very successful man. Just understand where we've come to as a society.
Kitchen, Taberski lives in the bedroom. This is my shed. And on that side are the books that most influenced me growing up. On the door are the list of my dogs. Marky, Fortuna de la Spunky, Heidi, Tits, Bloody, and Hepburn. The streams and the rivers were dry, and it so horrified me that I came out and started painting the rocks blue to indicate that there was once a river here. And then after I got done painting the rocks, I just sort of walked over here and then did that tree and then did that tree and then I did this tree.
She basically took her word for it and is now calling Trump a rapist. Now, just understand the way the left operates. They don't actually believe in evidence. They just believe in actually killing anyone they don't like. This has been proven time and time again. They don't call you a Nazi because they think you're a Nazi. They call you a Nazi so they can justify killing you. They don't call you a fascist because they think you're a fascist. In fact, I don't even think that they know what the word fascism means. They just use that word to basically say, now it's morally justified to overthrow you by any means necessary, right? Because that's what you would do against an actual Nazi or fascist government, right? Emails between her and her friend, who was also a key witness in the case, reveal her talking about her grand scheme to remove Trump from office. She was funded by a billionaire Democrat, we'll talk about him in a second, benefited from changed laws specifically to prosecute Trump, and Carroll was the first person in the state to file under this new law. She won a case against Trump with zero evidence, no eyewitnesses. In a trial, the judge refused to admit Trump's evidence against Carroll, showcasing a politically motivated prosecution. And this person is now trusted for some reason, and now the entire country is calling Trump a rapist, and they have been for like the last decade. This is what the establishment does. This is how the gears turn and how it operates, just purely to destroy you if they don't like you. But even more than that, women actually do lie.
It'll be a good morning
but,
when you buy something and get the
Of all
fuck
men
out of here.
Texas is sneezing
Bye.
the shit out of his
Or
face
bye.
right now. But actually, they could just lie. Now, this guy is the guy that paid E. Jean Carroll's legal expenses that she got caught lying about. We will talk about that in an instant. The guy sitting next to Epstein on his island, Reid Hoffman. Reid Hoffman is the guy, the billionaire, that paid for E. Jean Carroll's case
You want a
against Trump,
guarantee, huh?
friend of
Well,
Jeffrey
maybe
Epstein.
you should try Shamway.
Emails like, okay, come to the island, ranch, let's play. That's not weird at all, coming from history's second most notorious pedophile. Of course, the other guy, they have a whole religion based off the other guy. But we don't talk about the other guy right now. So just to understand, Trump's name shows up in the Epstein files. Yeah, Epstein coordinated literally to take Trump out. We have evidence that Epstein coordinated with Obama's lawyers to get Trump to lose his election on the Russia hoax. We have Epstein on a phone call with people in Congress while questioning Trump in regards to Russia ties, which ended up being a complete hoax. We have Epstein's bestie over here sitting with him on his island where they play on his ranch, funding a bogus sexual assault case against him. So when these people say that Trump's a pedophile, they have no evidence. In fact, there is no evidence. But because his name is mentioned in the files of a guy who worked with everybody that tried their best to destroy him, like, understand how badly the narrative falls apart if you actually believe in evidence for even a second. So this investigation is actually.
Breaking news, moments ago, the Department of Justice has launched a criminal investigation into E. Jean Carroll. She accused President Trump of sexual assault. The investigation is allegedly centered around whether Carroll committed perjury during her civil lawsuit against the president. She was eventually awarded a $5 million judgment. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche has recused himself from the investigation, given his past representation of Trump in the matter.
That is crazy, breaking news, by the way. That's insane. They're getting her for perjury. Shit, dude. That's so sick. False statements under oath to help Democrats target Trump. Dude, this is so awesome. Is Trump just going after people he doesn't like? Fuck yeah, baby! They're going away. He's winning. As you can see, in a 2022 deposition, E. Jean Carroll stated that no one else was paying her legal fees. Well, it later emerged that nonprofit banned by LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman covered her legal expenses. Wow. So it seems like a multi-billionaire Democrat, gigantic corporation guy that didn't want Trump to be president was funding a bogus sexual assault allegation against him. That's pretty wild. Lied about Reid Hoffman paying her expenses.
Rekt victim.
You don't feel like a victim.
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished. Which, the word rape carries so many sexual connotations.
Yes. Because rape is sexual.
This was not sexual.
Really?
It hurt. It just, you know.
Well, I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It's not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
This is the person that accused Trump of rape and ruined his life. Okay? This is the person that got $5 million on a rape allegation. The one that says that he didn't rape me, rape is sexy. All right? But for some reason, the judge still decided, you know what, you make me a point.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasy.
Let's take a break.
We're going to take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
Yeah, CNN really doesn't want the actual, person who claims to have been raped by Trump talk about how rape is sexy. All right? Lied about Reid Hoffman paying her legal expenses. Didn't mention allegations any time from 1996 to 2018. 3 days after Trump announced his re-election, bang! Accuses him of rape. Coming from the person that says rape is sexy. Wow, insane, honestly. Now, E. Jean Carroll is getting absolutely humiliated everywhere.
Another thing that he and his lawyers have often spoken about is the lack of disclosure about a big Democratic donor funding part of this case.
That's a pretty big deal.
Is there a reason it wasn't disclosed, and do you view this as political in any way?
No.
No! I was silent about this for 20 years and then decided out of the blue to come up and accuse him of raping me with billionaire Reid Hoffman funding my case. Not for political reasons, obviously. It's because I think rape is sexy. I mean, rape is bad.
I just completely forgot.
Totally forgot that billionaire Reid Hoffman funded her entire case against a billionaire, Donald Trump, 3 days after he ran for president.
That he even existed.
In your deposition?
Yes, in my deposition.
She just forgot. E. Jean Carroll caught in deposition claiming she totally forgot that billionaire Reid Hoffman funded her entire lawsuit against Trump. It slipped her mind. She just forgot, guys. She just forgot. Understand the level of evil these motherfuckers are using to destroy you. All right, never forget that she called rape sexy. All right, and then they had to cut it off on CNN because, well, what the fuck are you gonna do about that? Even Nick Fuentes, who for the record hates Trump right now, even he's backing Trump on this one. And by the way, he's completely right. He is completely right. Before getting too deep into the chaos, free cash was promised to me 3,000 years ago. One thing I recently added to my daily routine is using free cash for a few minutes here and there. If I'm gonna play games with the time sponge, I might as well make some money out of it. Free Cash is a fun and easy way to earn real money by doing simple tasks while already on your phone. Play games, complete surveys, do simple tasks, and turn your bathroom break into an investment. I've been enjoying playing Call to Dragons on Free Cash, a high payout strategy-based building game. You get instant payouts with a really easy process through PayPal, Amazon, or Visa. There's already over $250 million paid out to over 60 million users worldwide. It's a win-win. They get someone to test out their games and fill out their surveys, and you get paid. Use the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to sign up and get a $10 bonus today. Now back to the chaos. Every individual sign up literally supports the channel, so if you could click the link in the description and do the thing, that would be very appreciated.
We're also going to talk about Trump's epic lawsuit against his rape victims. This is what I love to see. Now, this is something that I like to see. Can we get more of this? The Trump administration is suing Jean Carroll. This is that woman who sued Trump in civil court for raping her 45 years ago. Now Trump is taking the fight to his rape victim, and he's suing her for perjury.
That's right.
He says
he
that
is going to rape her in court. No, that's
she perjured herself in the trial. This is a criminal case.
That's right.
Brought by the DOJ.
Public lashes. See, I'm actually against prison for the most part because I don't like the idea that my tax dollars are paying for prison. Like, if there's someone that's that dangerous, he's gonna kill people. Like, we should execute him. And if he's not that dangerous and he's not gonna kill people, I just think we should give them public lashes. Personally, I think it's much healthier. Like, why should my taxes pay for their prison sentence?
And he's gonna bring the full weight of the White House down on this 83-year-old.
Maybe the next hoe that decides to lie for political points is gonna be shutting the fuck up. W. Justice W.
SA victim.
Oh, that's right.
Finally, some good.
I can't believe he's suing his rape victim. How do you know she's a rape victim? Can you believe women? Your first mistake, sir.
Good news. I love to see a guy fight back.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Isn't it true, though?
Look at the way the right wing unites over justice. Can we get more of this, please? Can we please get more of this? Every single guy that came for you and came to fucking obliterate you, just jail him. Legally, of course, obviously, you throw the weight of the government to jail. Bro, listen.
My back.
Right? EJ
Oh.
goes to jail, the entire right celebrates. Literally. Hassan Piker gets supported, the whole right. We'll all come together. We'll unite on this. All right? You might call this a populist tactic, but I think it's fucking worth it and awesome at the same time. The amount of good that can be added to society if you make examples out of the worst fucking people would be cinema. It would be. You're being so heartless that you would put a rape victim. I don't even know if she's a rapist. She might just be a hoe. A hoe bitch. A bitch hoe that lied.
We all knew that was a load of nonsense. She was that woman who claimed that they went to the shopping mall and he, like, molested her in the changing room or something. We know it's fake. She got awarded a $5 million settlement.
That's crazy.
And they called him a rapist because of it.
That's right.
But now our glorious hero is fighting back.
That's
He's
right.
gonna put her in her place.
The main character.
More of this. See, this is the thing about the Trump administration. Why can't it just be fighting our actual enemies?
Yeah. So, but not Iran, because we love those guys. Those rapists. Those rapists are cool. Anyway, so we don't need to get into it. Point is, the right unites over justice. The left unites over anarchy. And then the anarchy gets so bad, the actual government needs to step up and completely do insane amounts of overreach to basically squash everybody down. Look at COVID. Literally, the left is a party of anarcho-fascists. It's, you know, it's people that are wildly authoritarian because they refuse to actually jail the actual anarchists, and they jail the people that are the good people instead. You know, the retards shooting people up and looting stores and lighting shit on fire, they don't go after them. Therefore, basically fanning the flames of anarchy. But they will absolutely and utterly squash the good, God-fearing, average American guy that just wants to get married and have a family. Alright, so that's quite classic anarcho-fascist. But the right likes justice. You have absolute fucking degenerate roach Hassan Piker calling for the death of America and shit. Just get him out. Deport him. I don't care what law you use. Figure it out. This guy shouldn't be here. There's no moral reason why this guy should be in our country. Literally, there is no moral reason why this perk, who was born here illegally and now magically a citizen, we have to fucking deal with this fucking shitbag traitor. There is no reason why we need to do that. Get him out. I don't care how. You can whip him on terrorist charges, on, you know, violating sanctions, on sedition, calling for the deaths of senators. I don't give a fuck why. In my book, every single one of those is a good enough reason to get him the fuck out of here. Same with this. You get this lying sexual assault victim, in quotes, lying justice is beautiful, actually. And I wish that Donald Trump was the authoritarian that the left actually thinks he is. Now, just to understand, there's crazy stuff happening in the actual political world right now around the Trump administration. I'm not saying that the #1 most common religion among young women these days is witchcraft, which is a true statistic, by the way. That is true, actually, unfortunately. But all of a sudden, everyone's getting sick. Now, Tulsi Gabbard is leaving the government, submitting her resignation because her husband, Abraham, has recently been diagnosed with a extremely rare form of bone cancer. He faces major challenges in the coming weeks and months. This time I must step away from my public service to be on his side and fully support him through this battle, which is heartbreaking, and obviously we're praying for him and we wish him the best of luck. And then we got, Attorney General Pam Bondi has been battling thyroid cancer in her time following her departure from her role as U.S. Attorney General for Axios. Again, I think she was a terrible Attorney General, don't get me wrong, and I'm happy she was fired, but this is tragic. It's really horrible. And of course, we are praying for her recovery. It's unreal. It is unreal watching the Trump administration battle their way through this, all right? Members of their actual government getting cancer, their spouses getting cancer, assassination attempts all the fucking time, backstabbers everywhere from Thomas Massey to Tucker Carlson, backstabbing him wherever he goes, despite the fact that they make believe that they were like his #1 soldiers, with leftist discourse just constantly and only being Trump bad. Everything. Trump says don't take Tylenol when you're pregnant, or the baby can have autism, and you have women overdosing on Tylenol. Like, literally, we're dealing with fucking retards, okay? Calling him a rapist for fake rape allegations, calling him a pedophile because his name is in the Epstein files where Epstein was working to destroy him. Like, I don't think you understand. Of course, this is how the left responds to the news that Pam Bondi has thyroid cancer.
If there is a mighty God, please let Pam Bondi's throat cancer be the worst cancer anybody's ever seen. Please let her have to take on the suffering that she's unleashed on the thousands, millions, dare I say.
Yeah, she didn't unleash any suffering on anybody, just by the way.
Dear my Lord Jesus, please let her end up with a hole in her throat that she has to push every time she speaks. Please, dear my Lord Jesus, please let her speak the karma that she so justly deserves.
Right? So, here, the godless communists are now praying to a god that they don't believe in because they hate you so much. Alright, like, I'm never going to unite with people like this, for the record. And this is just the one person that actually decided to film it, amongst the many that were just celebrating quietly because they're not fucking retarded. This is the lowest IQ of the retards, but the higher IQ retards, they just celebrate like that in group chat. I'm not even exaggerating, that's real. My brother, alright, he was in med school when Donald Trump was elected president, and he showed me screenshots from that group chat. And these are the doctors, right? These are the next generation of doctors in our country. Talking about if they ever had him as a patient, they would let him die. Absolute hypocrites on the Hippocratic Oath. Meanwhile, the GOAT, the actual GOAT, the guy who has been basically brutally humiliated by everyone as being an anti-vaxxer, secretly unhealthy, and he's horrible, because he has a weird voice. All right, RFK Jr., what's he doing? This guy is unbelievable. Well, let me show you. Let me show you what our GOAT does. Right? This is our HHS secretary. This is your HHS secretary. All right, this is what our GOAT was doing.
Sleeping driveway. Hold on, guys. I'll be back in a flash.
Bro, he's a fucking monster. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Little fucking fishnet that probably his like 6-year-old girl has or something. That's a deadly snake, by the way. That's a rattlesnake. It's Diamondback, probably.
Only you. Amazing.
Oh! Like, every time I open up Twitter, I either see this 75-year-old motherfucker doing, like, 30 pull-ups in the airport or catching rattlesnakes in his driveway. Like, what are we even doing? In the middle of the meeting? Oh, my God! And he even puts it back on the street. No shot, he's gonna pin his head. No, the new crocodile hunter! Crocodile hunter of the fucking government! Dude, this guy's a savage. Oh my god! This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life!
Back.
Oh my god! He's like his hand shakes, he's old as fuck, he's still doing this! Yeah! Yeah, don't touch his fangs!
No. Honey, I didn't know. I want it here.
Bro, based Giga Chad alpha male protecting his woman like that. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Western Diamond. I said it was a diamondback. That is the most deadly snake in the United States of America, by the way. The Western Diamondback.
Oh my god.
Put him in here.
He just drops it in the pillowcase. What's he gonna do?
All safe.
All safe, yeah. And he goes and he lets it go. He goes, he lets it go. He doesn't want to hurt the snake. The snake did nothing wrong. You gotta let it go in the wild, bro. I am just saying. I fucking love winning. Winning is awesome. Subscribe if you like winning too, because we're gonna keep doing that. The road will be difficult. We will have setbacks, but we are gonna fucking win. God is good.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone!
A lip-syncing scandal unfold and the exodus of the Great One. But that is for next year. We hope you find some patience while you wait.
I thought it was the door to love. It was the door to hell!
Coming soon, 1988. 1988, a year when you could feel America was becoming more materialistic. It was out...
iDubbbz is always taking out his insecurities on other more successful creators. This time it's Charlie.
And I think he has the capability of changing, right? I will say though, like, I don't think a lot of them are quite as, I don't think a lot of them have developed their woke mind as much as me.
But when he's throwing that right hand,
This is when iDubbbz unlocked his woke mind.
I love my girlfriend. I'm totally fine with dudes jacking off the pictures of her on the internet. This is the most intelligent thing I've probably ever done. I don't think a lot of them have developed their woke mind as much as me.
It's CTE, man. Get help. He compares his past content to Clavicular and Nick Fuentes.
Then when you meet a lot of these people who are, you know, advocating for these people online, the claviculars, you know, 2016 iDubbbz, all this sort of Nick Fuentes, like, they are...
I'm gonna log out for a bit. I gotta take care of my back. I'll be back in a couple hours.
Is he dead?